It was the year of fire.
The year of destruction.
The year we took back what was ours.
It was the year of rebirth.
The year of great sadness.
It was the year of pain.
And a year of joy.
It was a new age.
It was the end of history.
It was the year everything changed.
The year is 2014.
The name of the place, the Black Dog Podcast.
Was that okay, love? Do be a darling and see if you can rustle me up a brandy.
Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast. No number, because it's just a review.
It is. Yeah.
It's a 2014 review.
2014 review.
Hey, and this week we will obviously be reviewing
2014.
Well, not 2014, but 2013.
Oh, 2013.
It's the 2013
No,
review.
we're time travelers. We're reviewing 2014. Well, that was a bit shit, wasn't it?
No, it was fucking rubbish. Anyway, so, yes, I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
And...
I'm Jim.
There you go. Jim, if you're going to be a permanent part of this podcast, man, you've got to get the swing of it.
He's actually coming live from Australia. That's why there's a bit of a gap.
Okay.
Which could lead to some fun and games later on, I think.
Yes, exactly. And so that's our first bit of news, which is basically we have offered the third seat to Mr. Moon as a permanent residence.
Yeah.
And I have gratefully accepted.
Lovely.
Chance to come on here and behave badly and swear.
Exactly. After all the polite narrations of Father Brown stories, you know, oh, I do not believe there's a ghost. Yeah, it suddenly turns into, fucking hell.
Yes.
This is your outlet, Jim.
So we could be like the witches from Shakespeare. Hubble, bubble, boil and trouble. When shall we three converse again?
Tuesday.
All right then.
Anyway, so this week we'll have a bit of, we'll catch up on what everyone's been doing. And then what we'll do is we'll have a little bit of news, and then we'll go straight into the reviews. There won't be any shitty superhero this week. There won't be any Profanosaurus, because basically we got a little bit of feedback. And obviously we've also all got our own opinions of what was the best and worst of 2013. So let's kick this year off with what's been happening in everyone's world. Now, obviously, I've got a range of, now that Jim's permanent, you know,
he's still the newbie.
He's still the newbie. Does he still have to go
the
first?
office junior.
The novice.
The novice.
He's the one we send out to go for a long stand and get a square bubble for the spirit level. And all that lot. Blue sparks
I've got
for the
some
grinder.
strike paint here.
Shit, I wanted rainbow paint. Go back and get some more, Jim.
I've got some of those nails that have got the heads on the other end, so you have to knock them from behind, underneath.
That's it. That's what we need.
But we do promise you, Jim, when we acquire a fourth member, you get to crucify them on a regular basis. So
Fourth member?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Well, he has to, because otherwise who's he going to pass on the abuse to?
Oh, well. Herc, then.
Herc, yes. There we are.
There you go. Herc, you've only got 5 years to wait, mate. At this rate. Anyway, so okay then, Jim. So how was your Christmas period, Mrs. and your New Year's celebrations? Go right ahead.
I had a very good Christmas indeed.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was very busy. I stayed up far too late and found I'm not 20 anymore, but it was bloody good. I got nice shiny new Sennheiser headphones, which are light, lovely and clear, so I'm pleased about that.
Nice.
Got some really good, a fuckload of books for the library, as you'd expect.
Yes.
But I was very pleased to get the huge, big John Landis book.
Of boobs.
Not the big book of acid.
No.
the big book of monster movies he did. Proper big coffee table book. Loads of great photos in, and so heavy you could just kill Michael Bay by casually dropping it. And that's going to be my workout for the next year, reading that.
Just trying to lift it.
Education and exercise all rolled into one.
Is that the one with the close up on the wolf from American Werewolf?
That's the
in
one,
London?
yeah.
Brilliant book,
I've
fantastic.
been meaning to buy it for myself for ages, and a friend of mine kindly got it for me.
Oh, well, there you go. That's the kind of friend.
Oh, yes. Yeah, one of those really good presents where you go, oh, I've always wanted that. Thank you.
Nice.
Didn't expect that. It was a complete surprise.
Terrific.
The festive period has been livened up by a drink I invented.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's what invented is made. Ginger whiskey.
Ginger whiskey.
Yep.
Is this
very simple to make, and it's legal.
Yeah.
But you get, those big Kilner jars that
Yeah.
have like the clip top with a rubber seal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get one of them.
Right.
You get some ginger root, which you chop up.
Yep.
Get some stem ginger
Yep.
that comes in jars in the syrup. You put the syrup in the jar, then chop up the stem, and then fill it up with bottles of just cheap supermarket whiskey. Seal it up, leave it for about 6 weeks, give it a good shake every day.
Yeah.
The longer you leave it, the better. But it got to 6 weeks, so it's Christmas. I'm opening this bad boy, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you want a winter warming drink, ginger whiskey, get on it, folks.
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe we'll have you. Maybe
If you want to cook it Nigella style, have a few lines.
yeah. Have some Coke with it.
Yeah, have a Coke and
You're
more
a
than
very
a smile.
snotty girl.
Oh dear, very sniffy. Right. Anything else, sir? Or
I think that's all I can tell you.
Nice. Okie dokie. Well, in which case we move on to Mr. Barnard.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Hello,
indeed.
and
Hello.
how was your Christmas period, sir?
My Christmas period was pretty damn good, actually.
Yes.
Although it did threaten not to happen
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, because
Okay.
myself and my wonderful wife Laura
Yes.
were due to go up and spend Christmas with her
Up
mum
north.
up north in Newcastle.
Up north.
And so I had all these plans. It's like, you know what? On the morning, she went off to work, and I was just sort of like getting the house. I had a day off, so I was just getting the house tidied, get everything prepared, get all the luggage up to the King's Cross, and we'd be waiting there for a train to get up north. Now, my original plan was to get the cat in the cattery,
Mm-hmm.
right, by 11 o'clock, 11:30.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so those were my original plans.
That was the plan.
That was the plan. I ended up taking 6 hours trying to get the bastard thing in a cat box. Right? Okay, I tried everything. I tried dropping bits of chicken in there, which she loves.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm all right with the chicken, but
No.
that's a big black container that I'm sure I've been in before, and something not nice happened last time I was in there.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I mean, I'm pulling my hair out, literally thinking Laura's going to her mum's by herself this Christmas, and I'm staying home with the cat. And in the end, I cleared out every single bit of food from the house that you could get hold of, just cleaned out everything, and I literally starved it into the box. I put a fresh bit of food in the house, I let it see me pouring the stuff into a bowl. I put the bowl in the thing, and I just stood there and looked at it and gave it that, if you want to eat, you got to go in there. And so she caved. And she got 3/4 of the way into the box, and I just got this blanket, fucking shoved it in behind her, tipped the box up so gravity wasn't her friend, and that was it. And it was like, well, I've got another 45 minutes before the cattery opens, but you're fucking staying in that box.
See,
That's it.
See, we obviously had 2 cats, and you know what we did?
What did you do?
We just grabbed them by the scruff of the neck and shoved it in the box.
I tried everything like that. I tried getting her in every which way, but she's like a fucking Swiss Army knife. Suddenly there's fucking legs everywhere grabbing onto different surfaces, and I can't get her through the fucking hole.
That's why you grab them from the scruff of the neck and you push the head in first.
I tried doing
Arms
stuff like
can't
that.
go forwards.
I tried doing everything. I tried putting her in backwards, everything, but
Put
no.
your foot on her head.
Exactly. I tried to kick her in that way. But
Did you
anyway,
get this cat from the asylum? It wasn't Catopus, was it?
I think it was, yes. Yeah. She was Ninja Cat.
Catnado.
Yeah, Catnado. So anyway, got that out of the way. Managed to get up to Newcastle safe and sound as well, even though there was terrible weather on the day before Christmas Eve. There were a lot of people, and it was all on the news and everything like that.
I wouldn't know. I didn't go out.
No, I know you didn't. Had quite a freaky experience with the weather up there because we experienced sort of like about 10 different weather systems all within the space of 10 minutes. Got up on, I think it was Christmas Eve, stood there, bright and sunny. All of a sudden, black clouds rolled in over the top, so it got quite dark. Then the fog started rolling in. And it's like started getting really foggy. I thought any minute now we're going to get sailors knocking on the door with fucking hooks and shit like this.
Or Gas are singing Fog on the Time.
Exactly. And then it started raining. Then that turned into hailstones. Then that turned into snow. Then all of a sudden it stopped. The fog cleared and it was clear again.
Yeah.
And that was all within the space of 10 minutes.
And now you know what's happened.
What's that?
Well, you see, there's 5 ASBO sufferers sort of sitting there who are painting a house.
Oh no, chavs with superpowers.
Chavs with superpowers, man.
Jesus,
that's
shitting hellfire.
They're doing the community service. They've just been hit by lightning.
God, yes.
There's one that can control milk out there now. Do you know that? You watch out.
Milk. Anyway, so, but apart from that, yes, really enjoyed the Christmas there. Got some wonderful presents. I won't go through every single one of them, but ones that come to mind straight away. Book I'm reading at the moment, which I do highly recommend to just about anybody. Go out and buy a copy, and that's Ready Player One. I'm coming to the end of it now, and it is a fantastic book if you like geekery of any kind. It is an actual story. It's not like a guide to anything. It's an actual novel. And if you like the 80s, music from the 80s especially, computer games, comics, anything like that, geeky films, read this book. A lot of the actual references they use in it, some of them are very much sort of like the standard issue ones, but the writer himself has done an awful lot of research, and it's just very nicely done.
Or he might not be like 13.
No, he's not. He's not 13, definitely not. But,
just lived through the era.
Yeah. So Ready Player One. I won't say anything more about it, but yeah, just go out and get a copy.
Cool. Okay.
Video games. Got a game for Christmas, which is Lego Marvel Superheroes, which I have to say is possibly the best Lego game. The first one that I've ever played that didn't want to make me just lob it out of a window.
Right.
It's quite... most of the game is actually like GTO. You can just go anywhere within a Lego New York.
Nice.
And you get to do different missions, and it's extremely funny as well. The humour in it is just top class. I mean, you know, you've got to fight against Doctor Doom making his Doom Ray of Doom.
Right.
That's the kind of level of humour. Yeah. So some nice references. There's an awful lot of Lego versions of the Marvel universe in it as well. You can unlock various characters. And I don't think you quite know joy in the game until you've flown around New York as a Lego Iron Man.
Oh,
it's brilliant. It's just such a simple thing, but it's great. It's just and flying through the streets, weaving your way through the buildings.
Yeah,
really, really good.
I must admit, just to interrupt you there, but I did like the look of it because they had it on.
It's great.
They had it on. What was it on Channel 4 News?
Yeah,
and they had Charlie Brooker sitting beside Jon Snow trying to show him how to use it. And it looked great, but then when Jon Snow's kind of waffling about trying to use the controllers, best line ever, Charlie Brooks is just looking at him and he goes, "You're like a dog in control of a jet plane." But anyway, sorry, carry on.
That's all right, no problem. You do get a set of missions you have to do in it, of course, but you can stop doing those for the minute and just go and explore the city and go and do the various missions that you've got out there, because there are like little markers of people wanting you to do things. Like I'll give you an example. There's one mission you get where some bloke's got you have to go and retrieve a monkey out of a tree, right? So you're Iron Man. Now, you'd think they'd have Iron Man going up picking the thing out of a tree. No, you blow the fucking tree up.
Well,
this is it. This is how great it is.
That's how the monkey will get down.
Exactly. So the monkey, and then you take him back. Bit singed, but there you go.
Or it could be Hulk and just throw the monkey over the horizon.
Yes, it might be that. So,
Excuse me.
Yeah, highly recommend that. I did go and see a couple of films as well.
Are they making it into your top 5?
They will, but I'll just mention them very...
Don't mention it then.
Why? No, I mean, this is just films that I saw that will be mentioned later on, one way or the other.
Right.
Anchorman 2,
okay,
which I did go and see, and I'll talk about that one later on. And also 47 Ronin. Okay, so
It's
sorry,
not my fault.
your film.
It's
I want to see
not
your film.
My film. It is not my film. It was a film I was drafted in to do shit for in the very last second. Do not blame me for that.
Yeah, you are now the Damon Lindelof of this podcast.
Off.
You see, it was going well until you got in there.
Oh, piss off.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, Keanu Reeves' character turns around and goes, "I am God." So,
Do you know what? Christmas cheer, Christmas spirit. I was going to try. One of my resolutions was not to call you a cunt, and unfortunately, I can't hold to that resolution. You cunt.
No, I will give an honest review of it later on.
Okay.
I like winding you up though. So,
Is it part of your 2013 best films or worst films?
I can't really decide on what comes between my possibly the least favourite in the list, not like of the good ones, and my top. I know what my top film of 2013 is.
Okay, well we'll keep that on the burner because everyone's
Indeed.
given their own opinions. We'll all go through it.
Oh yes, indeed we will.
But anyway, my Christmas, yes, particularly Marvel bent, I got from my lovely wife. I got 4 Marvel Art of books, the Art of Marvel collection, which is fantastic. I haven't had a chance to look through them yet because it makes me cry because it's just like all this work and it's like, oh, it's so fucking clever. Look at the skill on display. I should just give up now. So I haven't done that. And then I got Last of Us on PS3, which I played 15 minutes of. Found it really, really intense, and then I had to go to Norfolk for the thing. I was just like, no, I've got to go back to that. And when my nerves are calmer,
really, is it that?
It's pretty
kind of full on.
It's pretty full on.
Yeah.
As a survival horror and as a story, it's pretty full on.
I must admit, it's if I was gonna get a cheap PS3, I think it's like Guitar Hero was for the PS2 for me.
Yeah.
I think that would possibly be the game that I would do it for.
Imagine Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
The new one,
yeah,
and Uncharted and all those kind of games. Then add survival horror into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then add the fact that you're looking after this girl, and throw in a lot of The Walking Dead, where the humans are just as bad as the things that are following you, the clickers.
Right.
Oh dear. Basically, without spoiling too much of it, the things that have taken over, the virus that's taken over. You know it's a viral plant, like a fungus.
Andy, Mr. Palacides, was telling me about this, and the actual disease that you've got in the game is based on
the one that controls ants, makes
spiders.
Makes them, sends them up trees and makes them spore next to ant hills and all that sort of stuff.
And just
turns them into zombies essentially.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing, and you've got all these people with sort of things growing out of them, and dogs and everything, because the spores have jumped species to humans.
Right.
It's very good, but it's extremely tense, and I've had so much work to do, I've not really had a chance to throw at it. I got Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, which I'm really looking forward to, but I can't play because, again, if I start playing this, I just will, I got paid in PayPal money for a small indie film job. I did.
PayPal money?
Yeah, basically, someone just paid me through PayPal. They just
right, okay.
But the thing was,
is it currency now? Is
no,
it like Bitcoin or something?
And basically, they paid me, and it's like it was only a little sort of like thank you very much money. It wasn't really like full job money because I only did like a couple of scenes clean up. And but the thing was, as that happened, Steam sale. And you can pay, pay for Steam games with PayPal.
Yeah.
So I bought a load of games there, none of which I can play. Anyway,
really?
So I can't play them. I'm trying to do work, otherwise I get distracted. Anyway, so on to the stories of the week. There was two fairly interesting moments over the course of the whole thing. Firstly, that my brother decided to have a fun Christmas for his kids, which resulted in all of us having to dress in onesies.
Right.
So I spent Christmas in a onesie.
Which onesie was that then, Lee?
My onesie was a Hulk
of
onesie.
course, I remember now. Yes.
Carol had a cat one that she didn't really want, and I surprised her, and she was so happy. I bet she was. She was so happy when I got her onesie.
Have your nuts recovered yet?
They're in a box somewhere.
I was going to say you're not wearing those earrings or anything at the moment.
But the thing was, next day, we're just chilling out at home, and I wanted to watch Chronicles of Riddick,
Okay.
which is fucking dumb.
Okay. Is that going to be one of your worst of 2013? Because that was a 2013
Oh, it
film.
was, wasn't it? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't. I hadn't included it on the list, but you never know. It might be a late entry now. Anyway, so I had it on memory stick, right? And then I didn't have it on memory stick. It didn't work. So I thought, you know what? I can bloody rent this on Blinkbox. So I'm going to plug in my network cable into the back of my Xbox. All done. The thing was, right next to the telly was a big stack of presents where all the kids have been piling up their presents and everything, right beside the telly. And I have a particularly fetching set of Santa slippers, as I think you can see right now.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, they're quite ordinary slippers when he's not wearing them, but they've got this magical property of making him look like a complete cunt. It's like a chameleon circuit. It's
magical cunt slippers.
When you say Santa slippers, are these like Santa head slippers you stick your feet into in a disturbing fashion?
They're actually slippers made out of Santa.
Yes, yes.
Santa is dead, children. Lee is now wearing his skin on his feet.
Puts the
From
lotion
the
on.
Rare Exports Company.
Rare Export's very nice, very good. Yeah. Santas of the lambs. Anyway. But the thing with these slippers is they're open back. They're very warm, by the way. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I don't care what they look like. They're very warm. Anyway, so I go to plug in the network cable into the back of my Xbox. Now I have to lean over the back of my TV. And I have to lean over this pile of presents. And I have to lean down behind the telly. And then my slippers slipped. Right?
They are called slippers.
They are called slippers.
So, you
and
know,
what happened?
That's exactly what it says on the tin.
What happened was I kind of got myself in a position where essentially as I went down, I hit the wall on the back of the behind the telly.
Sorry, I've got a squeaking sound in my head.
Exactly, it was.
He's going down the wall.
And it was. But the problem is, you know, I've still got this frozen shoulder, so I haven't got a lot of strength in my right arm. Anyway, I'm going down with my left arm with the network cable in. I'm slowly lowering towards the presents, right? Which are obviously about to get crushed under my immense bulk. And then I'm thinking, oh crap. In the meantime, Jess and Carol are pissing themselves laughing because I haven't got any grip with my feet to get myself back up. I've got no strength in my right arm to lift me up without breaking the telly because I'd have to rest on the telly. And so I just basically slid down behind the TV and just slowly got stuck. And I just couldn't move. I was absolutely pinned between the wall, the TV, the presents on the floor, which I didn't want to crush, and the one bit of grip, which was my big toe on my left hand foot, which was the only thing that was propped against the corner of the TV stand, which was the only thing stopping me from slipping down completely behind. And I couldn't lift myself up because my other arm was trapped down with the network cable. I spent 2-3 minutes stuck there until eventually my lovely wife came and rescued me, who's laughing in the background there. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up. But she did have a bloody good laugh at my expense as I was stuck there with fucking Santa slippers flailing about like a complete tosser. So, that was good. We went to Norfolk. Carol's some of Carol's Aussie relatives were down for New Year's, and so we went up to this cottage where we were staying, and that was all cool. Kids were staying in a sort of attic room, which was really nice. This place was huge, and one night go up there, and Lisa starts complaining that one of the lights, these little halogen lights, is sort of positioned in the wrong place. It's kind of, she doesn't like it for whatever reason, so I turn it. Anyway, next day, Carol goes upstairs, turns on the light, goes back downstairs, tries to usher the kids upstairs. And what it turned out was I turned the light a little too far. and it was facing against a wooden partition. And so when she came back upstairs, I'm sitting there with the rest of the Aussies playing like a
It all
board
makes
game or
sense
something.
now.
And all of a sudden, Carol shouts down and says, "Guys, can you come up?" And I'm like, "Oh God, the kids want like help or something." He's like, "No, emergency." And he's like, "What? Fire!" And it's like, go upstairs, and the whole of the sort of like the top corner of this bedroom is smoking.
Great.
And literally, what's happened is the halogens set fire to the wood that it's right next to.
Christ.
Yeah. So anyway, so then it's like the Keystone Cops. There's me with dry ice CO2 canister going, firing it all over the place, right? And that's all fine. And then that runs out. And then I'm like, oh, it's all run out. So Chris, one of the Australian guys, goes running downstairs. He gets the next one.
Yeah.
Comes back upstairs, gives it to me. I'm like, right, okay, stand back. I'm going to do this. I pull the pin. I go, it's water.
Oh, Jesus.
It's water and foam. And it goes, and it fires into this little corner. Puts the fire out, no problem. But it also fires up my arm, all down my chest. I'm like,
You're going to call.
Exactly. The walls look like someone. It looks like Peter North's gone on a bit of a bukkake fest. It's like the whole wall is white. There's dripping everywhere. Like, oh God. In the meantime, the fire brigade have turned up, and the fire.
They're stood laughing.
Yeah, they're still laughing. Exactly. And I'm standing there, and all these firemen come in, and they all go up the stairs. And there's 6 firemen in a room that's probably only big enough for like 2 kids, and there's me as well. And we're all standing in there, and the guy goes, did a good job putting that out. And I'm like, thank you, very good. And he goes, yeah, it's you did well. And I went, cool, thanks very much. I said, I'll get out your way because they're going to sweep it with a thermal camera and all. Went downstairs. I heard him say, wasn't much. It's like, I'm going downstairs. All hail the conquering hero. He's like, yeah, he put out an ashtray. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was fun. In the meantime, I think that's about it. Really, I've been doing work. I mean, lots of work.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing work with Andy Plastides for Lockheed Martin.
Evil Empire.
No, yeah, Tony Stark Stark Incorporated. But when Jeff Bridges was running it, I'm doing I'm doing promotional stuff for things like unmanned helicopters.
What?
Helicopters.
Are you giving away some company secrets?
No, because this is all going to be on displays and stuff. Unmanned helicopters. That can remotely fly and pick up stuff. You tell them where you want to pick the stuff up. You tell them where you want to drop it, and they can move this stuff from left to right. Done.
Wow.
Without you touching it. And you know what?
Cool.
The only one that crashed was when one of the Marines looked at one of these things flying about and went, "Oh, I can land this thing." And obviously, as soon as he took over the controls from the computer, it just went and just splattered in the ground. But
Lovely.
This thing can land itself, take off, it can fly around, it can pick stuff up. It doesn't need anyone. It's like Big Track, but for army people.
Wow. I should imagine that would come in very useful for some
Yeah.
war zones.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm in some way sort of endorsing like Skynet. Because I'm doing
It's
another
a
thing.
big toy.
Another one called Space Fence.
Space fence.
Space fence.
Space Fence.
Is that
Which-
so if any space kids go over your space fence?
Yeah,
Get
you
off
think,
my
with space
fucking
lawn.
lawn.
With my space ball.
I know you live in space, you space kids.
Yeah, and it tracks 150,000 objects running 17,000 miles an hour around the Earth
Wow.
simultaneously.
Right.
How cool is that? And then there's things that can suck the salt out of water, and all it is like as thin as a sheet of paper,
Yeah.
and you can blast water through it, and sea water goes through one side, comes out as pure clean water out the other.
Wow.
Yeah, carbon fiber, man, carbon monofilaments.
So that's like drought problems taken care of then?
Yeah, and then there's boats that shouldn't be able to sail in water that's 60 feet deep, but they can sail on the surface. They lift themselves up like hydroplanes. There's another thing which is like a missile that can go underwater and hunt for mines and ping everyone and
Cool,
give you
blimey.
surveillance. I'm just sitting there going, this is fucking great. I feel like I'm on Call of Duty. I feel like I'm actually controlling the world. But
How many Microsoft points have I got to buy to get that?
Yeah, exactly. To get the K-Max, the unmanned helicopter. Yeah, so I've been doing that.
So is this company run by a very rich gentleman from Latveria by any chance?
Yeah, who got
just
a penchant
checking
for
here.
armour and
Yeah, and was defeated by squirrels once.
confound you, squirrel girl.
These squirrels, they vex me so. Yeah, well, anyway, so no, it's Lockheed Martin, and they just, I was like, wow, I love a bit of this. But anyway, so I've been doing all the promotional stuff for that.
Gosh.
Yeah, and then I've been doing some logos for a short film and some effects for a short film called Drones, which I think is going to edit on Friday, which should be on Vimeo pretty soon. And that's quite good. That's Marines versus remote robots. It's a really cool idea that basically there's a secret base with this defense network computer, supercomputer that's just been sort of like brought online. Then what happens is Hurricane Katrina hit and damages the building, but the machine inside, the computer inside, thinks that it's been under attack because it's lost all communications with the outside world. So then it immediately goes into defensive mode. Marines are sent in to shut it down before that happens, but it's too late. And the drones that this thing are releasing are hunting down the Marines who are hunting down for the core of this building. Little short film. Been working on that. Doing
I
quite nice.
have seen your effects work on that. The little bits you've gone and done.
Little bits, but I've
Yes.
done a lot more of that.
That's good.
I've been doing the vision of the drones as well now, and it's how they sort of see the world and everything. It's really cool.
Did you design the drones or?
No, someone actually built one of the drones for actually filming, and it's apparently one of the most dangerous things is the director the guy I worked with, has ever had to handle, because basically to make it look really cool, there's like a little motor inside of basically a big plastic sort of essentially silver spray painted hamster ball, and this thing sort of whizzes around inside. But the problem is, to turn it off, you have to put your fingers in it to turn the thing off. So this thing's going kind of like it's like putting your hands in a fucking blender.
Yeah, the off switch is at the bottom
Yeah.
of the blender.
Exactly, yeah. The off switch is underneath the blades. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's that kind of thing. But anyway, that's looking quite good. And then I got interviewed for Escape Studios blog to say, hey, look, this guy's doing really well.
Yes, I saw that.
Which was a
very
bit of a lie,
impressive.
to be honest. I mean, I'm not working with Universal. I'm kind of working for companies that work for Universal. But anyway, it's all right, I suppose. Anyway,
Good job if you can go.
yeah,
Work
good
if you
job.
can go.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's enough of that. I've waffled on long enough. Yeah, apart from getting stuck behind the sofa, stuck behind the telly, and setting fire to myself, setting fire to the house, nearly killing everyone. I think it's been a pretty uneventful Christmas.
Yeah, that's compared to what you. And you did none of this naked. So.
No, I didn't. That was good. It was good. So, let's get down to business.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get down to some news.
Hey, we're gonna hear some news now.
Wonder Woman news now. Okay, hello everybody. Right, so news. We have obviously got sort of Superman, Batman news rumor monster mill goes on and on and on. Anyway, and so this week's batshit bollocks mental story from the land of hit whoring is that Batman on film, which supposedly, quote unquote, has had a lot of success with rumors in the past, turned round and said that the origin of Wonder Woman is going to be Kryptonian.
It's the race, the entire race. It's the Amazonians themselves will be
Kryptonian.
Yeah, because they were the first people.
And they were the first people to land on Earth. They were a colony from Krypton, landed on Earth. They've been there so long that they've been depowered because they've evolved over time to adjust to the sun. Right?
Right.
Now, firstly, I think we were all on the Facebook group, Black Dog Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/the Black Dog Podcast. And generally there was, I'd say, a mixed bag of reactions. Some people thought it was okay. Some people thought having Amazonians in the first place was a bit weird. And generally, I think, there wasn't much of a consensus, but beyond the fact that it's like, okay. And then, in a wonderful turn of events, which I'm happy to report to you because it only just went live, it turns out that those rumours are bollocks. Yes. Yeah, and I quote from Devon Faraci and Badass Digest. Yesterday, a rumour blazed across the internet. It turns out that it was one of the first bullshit movie rumours of 2014 that Wonder Woman in Batman vs Superman versus fucking Glenn Miller and his band would be Kryptonian. Everyone got mildly irritated, but it turns out that they didn't have to be. Multiple sources are telling me now that the concept for Wonder Woman's origin are not going to be used in the film at all. It seems the Batman on Film website was just making stuff up. It says something about Batman vs Superman, however, that everyone believed the rumour in the first place, because even if it did seem too stupid to be true, it's pretty much what you were expecting in the movie at this point.
Yep, I would say so.
So, there you go. I mean, obviously, we're talking about a rumour that's now been disproved, but, I mean, is that the case? Do you think all this shit that we're hearing about this film so much that, you'd believe that?
I looked at that and thought, oh, okay, then, if that's what they're doing with it, well, they, whatever. I really have got to the level now where it's just, I'm willing to believe just about anything that comes out about it. It's kind of like, because it's so crazy. It is, as you said, it's batshit versus super hype.
Yep.
The
one thing they haven't announced is whether or not Superman's going to be in it, which I think is really quite amusing.
Exactly, or Batman.
Yeah,
I know Ben Affleck's being sort of like measured up for the suit in a minute, but it could just be because he's got a fancy dress party to go to.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jim? Are you still staying staunchly away from any kind of rumor websites now?
I'm staying away from rumor websites. I do wonder whether, though, Warner's are just having a laugh, and that Batman versus Superman will open up and it'll be something entirely different to everything that's appeared in the press or allegedly been leaked to the press.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be scary though, right? If it's like you've got a bloke at Warner Brothers chucking these ideas out saying, right, let's see how the websites handle this shit. Right, put that out because we've got an idea for a story, but chuck it out there. And afterwards, if it's wrong, if people don't like it, we can just say it was a duff rumor. Because you didn't really, it was out there for 24 hours. Nobody came back officially from Warner Brothers and said, no, this is shit, because they're watching the internet all the time. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. They're always on the internet. They've got search engines geared up to, they're like the fucking CIA. They've got
whole reams of people who look for this shit.
Exactly.
But, I don't know. I mean, personally, I think it's just they are just looking... They're
testing the water.
Testing the waters.
Yeah.
The other rumour that came out, which might have slipped everyone past, is the rumour that Nightwing's going to be in it now.
Yeah, probably.
But like I say, no one's confirmed Superman's going to be in it. So.
No, exactly. There has been nothing like that at all.
But more superhero news now. Jim, have you got your thing?
I do indeed.
Go on then.
According to the Hollywood Reporter,
so...
take that with a bag of salt. It is being suggested, my words, not theirs, that Fox is looking to do a crossover movie between the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I believe it's going to be set in Australia. It's going to be called the Fantastic Four X-Men. However, there is a quote, apparently from writer and producer Simon Kinberg, middle name Fu. He's quoted as saying, I have a lot of ideas of how to build those brands and do what everybody is thinking these days. Be like Marvel.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you could just sell the rights back to Marvel so they could actually be with Marvel. How about that? You know?
Well, that wouldn't make Fox a lot of money, to be honest.
It might do. They are charging enough.
The one thing that gets me at the moment is that they haven't even cast the Fantastic Four movie, let alone had a crossover with the X-Men.
Well, no, they just put that Fantastic Four movie on the books, didn't they? Because otherwise they would lose the rights.
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't do a Corman,
just
frankly, and just do any old bollocks and shovel it out straight to DVD.
They did. It was called Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh, yeah.
Which even a skin-tight leotard-wearing Jessica Alba couldn't save. It did a good job, though.
I don't think I've actually seen
the second
that
one
fully. I think I've seen major chunks of it, but
we got to give that a go, because that's got the Silver Surfer having the voice of Lawrence Fishburne. Could you imagine?
Has it?
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne is the Silver Surfer. Could you imagine how much mileage we could get out of Silver Service for Lawrence Fishburne? Come on.
Galacticus, the ultimate pie that bites back.
Exactly, yeah. Galactus coming in to eat the planet, and Lawrence Fishburne's heralding it. I mean,
Regdicus. There we go.
What? That episode pretty much writes itself. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Black Dog episode 4. I mean, Jesus.
Or release it and let it go.
It just makes itself up, that one. Cool. I mean, I don't know about Fantastic Four being a good movie or even doing a crossover with X-Men. I mean, the fact that they've even got like the second X-Men film on the books already, and they haven't even released the first one. Yeah, they got Age of Apocalypse.
Age of Apocalypse. Yes, I've read the apparent. Oh God, I really hope they're not going to do it.
What?
I really hope they're not going to do
Squirrel
what I've read.
Girl?
No,
Oh.
no. Okay, this is what's been put out.
Yeah,
Apparently, what they're going to do, or what's going to happen at the end. I think it's at the end of the next X-Men movie. There's going to be an Easter egg at the end of it, where Michael Fassbender actually comes across as Magneto, comes across Apocalypse, and he becomes Apocalypse.
Magneto becomes Apocalypse.
And Magneto becomes Apocalypse. He gets possessed by the spirit of Elvis.
There's a whole lot of me going on here.
Does it just
Hey,
end
man,
with
I'm
him?
Apocalypse,
Does it
man.
him going? Oh yes, I'm Apocalypse, and then the music goes wah 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 wah, and then just raps. That's it.
It is me, Leclerc.
Oh God. Anyway, moving on.
Oh.
Staying with Marvel bollocks news now. We have news of Agents of Boring. I mean Shield.
Agents of Shed.
Agents of Shed. Apparently, again, according to the Hollywood Reporter, please insert bucket of salt here.
Yeah.
Comic book creator Stan Lee will have a big major role in an episode that will likely air on February the 4th.
Ham, cheese, or bacon.
Yes, probably
Which role?
sausage.
Which role would he? Yeah, or sausage. Yeah.
Tuna and mayo. That's my bet. Tuna and mayo.
I think anything as long as it's got a healthy slice of cheese. But anyway, it's not the only place that Stan Lee will be spreading his wings. Apparently, the Mighty Seven he'll be on, which appears on Hub. I don't know what that is. No idea what he's going to play, but he is going to play a major role in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Will that make you start watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again? Or have you not stopped watching it? Because
it kind of disappeared because I don't think they've ever shown the last episode of that season. They showed 9 episodes. It's supposed to be 10.
Yeah, they had a mid-season break.
Yeah. I mean, how many episodes are there fully in this?
I don't fucking know.
I think it is going to be a full season.
I think it's only
20
10
episodes?
isn't it?
No,
I think so. I think they extended it. Yeah, I'm sure I read that somewhere.
Have you been watching it, Jim?
I have been following it. The times I haven't fallen asleep.
Oh.
Seriously, I have been putting it on and then falling asleep after my tea, which does say a lot about the show.
I think that does. Yeah, that says more. That says more than enough about the show. I mean, because I pretty much stopped watching after the 6th episode. I was so bored; it was unbelievable, and it just it always reverts back to the same thing. And I know someone from the Avengers. The music plays, and then the story carries on, and I don't remember the story. I always remember them saying, yes, but that's what I said to Iron Man. Or, oh, yes, and you know who wouldn't give up? Captain America. Just in case you forgot it's something to do with the films.
Okay, I'm just looking at the episode guide for it, just to see.
There's 12 slated, I can see, on Wikipedia.
Well, I slated 6. I just keep sitting going, fucking hell.
Because I
I think
mean,
with Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., if it came out in, 2003, it'd be pretty good.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
it seems like, 10 years too late. It's stuck in kind of Smallville season 1 mode,
Oh,
which did Kryptonite Freak of the Week.
yeah.
And this is the same. It's alien tech bollocks of the week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, this isn't what I want. You can do so much more with this. You know what I mean? You can build the Marvel Universe with all the minor characters and
yeah.
not these know-nothing, no-name Johnnies you just invented for the show.
Yeah, exactly. Extremis was the best gift that Marvel could have given that show. It's like, yeah, all we have to do is get some no-name stormtrooper types and we just make them glow and then ready brick glow and then we can have them punch people and that's it. It's like, boring. So boring. And yes, we're going to find out about Agent Coulson's history. It's like, yeah, he died and now he's better. All right.
That's the only reason I'm pretty much still watching.
Really?
I just want to know what's going on with Coulson. I mean, I think my issue with the show, it's there's too many in the cast. You don't need 2 wacky scientists. One would do.
Yeah.
And the most interesting characters are the 2 older ones, Melinda May and Coulson.
Yeah.
And the rest just get in the way, frankly.
Yeah. And it's really interesting you say that because for the 6 episodes I watched, all Melinda May does is stand there and scowl at people and then close the door behind her.
Yeah.
Every time.
She does more in later ones because there is this sort of more relationship and history between her and Coulson, and their scenes are quite fascinating. But the rest are just planks.
Yeah, it's
Agent of Plank.
It just seems to be this whole series just seems to be a filler, keeping the placemat there for Marvel's movies because it's just an average show. And I know a lot of people say, "No, you can't say that. You got to wait until the end of the season." Well, you've got 3 seasons you've 3 episodes to impress us. Okay, so all the story writing and all the excitement that you didn't put in the other 9 episodes, you can now come up and place in those
really
3.
whack it out the park.
Exactly. So, go ahead, impress me. It's quite an average. It's not special. It's not anything. It's beige. That's it.
Yeah.
It really is kind of. It's all right. You can put it on and sit there and watch it, but it's not going to knock your socks off or anything.
No.
I think it's probably a bad idea to do this series, actually, because of the restrictions they've placed on the show. Like, oh no, we can't do that because we might have it in a later movie. Well, why not put things like, have Carol Danvers show up in it? Start developing Miss Marvel in that show.
At this point, I'd be welcome to see fucking Stiltman in there.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's
anything. A proper comic book character, a comic book character universe show, please.
What about the Javelin?
Yep. Any one of those losers.
He's Angle Man.
Yeah.
Because I miss him and his set square.
The Estimator.
The
That was the
Estimator.
other one. Oh, man. I've really got to get on with that shitty superheroes book.
Yeah, the Estimator, the man whose special powers is being able to estimate correctly, except when he gets it wrong.
Because he's estimating it.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with that? Anyway, I guess we've got one more. I got one more piece of news, which is it turns out Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I should prep this up. Star Wars news now. So anyway, it turns out Lawrence Kasdan has done his bit on the Star Wars script, Star Wars Episode 7 script.
Yeah.
And now he's working fully on one of the standalone movies that Disney has commissioned. And rumours are it's a young Boba Fett story.
Can we please just write a letter to him and give him my suggestion about Boba Fett and IG-88 in the council flat discussing the Greg sausage roll situation? Can we please do that?
I think he's taking you on board, to be honest. I mean, there is nothing more boring than a character who's only got a cool costume and nothing else.
He's a kid as well. What is this? Is it Smallville? We're going that route again?
Yeah, guess so. Silence was the stern reply from all surround.
I'm sorry. To me, I mean, all right, I'm sure he's going to do something fantastic, but it just sounds so boring.
Yes.
It doesn't fill me with any excitement.
No. I mean, I don't get the love for Boba Fett. Apart from a cool costume, that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's just me. yeah, no new news on when it's going to be released. He's working on the script right now. No idea what era it's going to be set in. Whether or not he's really young or whether or not he's kind of like a middle-aged dude or what. But you know what? I couldn't give a fuck. I really couldn't. I genuinely couldn't give a flying fuck about a Boba Fett movie.
No.
But I am pleased Lawrence Kasdan's working on it, though. This is the one thing, one bit of news that actually makes me interested and exciting for these new Star Wars films.
I think
The man who worked on the really good one. Brilliant. You've got him back. Someone has a clue. This is a positive sign.
Which is good, but unfortunately, I may, before Star Wars Episode 7 turns up, I may just have to temper your expectations by putting on the list of films to watch Dreamcatcher. Because he not only wrote that, he directed it. Dreamcatcher. Shitweasels. With the guy from Homefront.
Anal aliens.
Exactly. Jason Lee getting done up the arse by a shitweasel.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'll watch that and report back next week.
Have you not seen it, Jim?
No. I've read the book and I thought, I don't want to see a film of this.
No.
God help you, Jim.
It's one of those. I mean, I quite enjoyed the book, but it's one of Stephen King's novels. I thought, I can't see how this is going to work as a film.
No.
Because a lot of it is the internal monologues of the characters going on, and there's so much kind of just isn't going to translate to film.
Well, funny enough, I think you're right.
Dreamcatcher, a film that really is a pain in the ass.
By the way, it is notable for Morgan Freeman's magnificent Don King hair. You will definitely appreciate that, and eyebrows that have been nicked off of a dead Dennis Healy.
So was that makeup, or was that just happen when he'd read the script and realised what he signed on for?
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm in this shit.
Do you want me to appear in your film? Well, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to pay me so much money I can make a conservatory the size of this wig.
Exactly. Yeah, so I can go and talk about penguins. Anyway, so anyone got any more news, or shall we move on to the main event?
Well, the only thing I've got is the people in charge of the Paranormal Activity franchise have claimed there is an end point they're working to.
Is that the end of the film or the end of the series?
The end of the series.
That's the end of the news.
Well, you know what? If you read that report,
there's 5 paragraphs and there's nothing else of relevance. They're saying, it's all going somewhere.
I should have just cut it there.
Read between the lines of that. Okay, if you look at the actual interview, they don't state how many films there are till the end, and they say, we're just, we're going to get to the end. We just hope the fans just keep coming back and watching it. And what that translates to is, please keep giving us money. We need to eat. Just keep watching our shit films.
Well, they've got one that's out next week, isn't it? Called the marked ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, that's a standalone feature, which interests me.
Yeah, and has nothing to do with the sort of ongoing thing about Kate and her big boobs.
So basically, this is Halloween season of the witch.
Oh, well, it's in the same universe, and apparently this sort of gives you a wider perspective to the story. I believe they put it.
It bodies to Halloween.
I've heard a couple of positive reviews of this one, and people saying it is like a horror chronicle.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I just kind of thought, I avoided the last Paranormal Activity because I heard it was terrible. And I thought, no, I'll stick with the first 3, which I thought were okay, entertaining. If it's gone shit, I'll leave it there, thank you.
Nice.
But this 4th one being standalone, instead of being compared to Chronicle, I thought, maybe. Ooh.
Cool. Okie dokie. Well, are you going to go and see it, Jim?
No, I'll wait till it's on DVD. I'm not paying a tenner to watch shaky cam footage in the cinema. I'm sorry, that's just the logistics of the economics of cinema for me now.
I'll pay a tenner to watch it on Blu-ray in the comfort of my own home, damn it.
No, I'll pay a tenner to hire my broadband for long enough. Anyway, not that we endorse that sort of thing.
No.
Anyway, and now it's time for a Jim Moon's Profanosaurus.
Thank you. Meat paste. Noun. 1. Something your mum puts on your sandwiches at school. 2. A highly personal sauce disgruntled chefs who have suffered through the Transformers films put on Michael Bay's burgers.
Nice. Meat paste. Oh, thank you very much for that, Jim.
My pleasure.
Yeah, not enough mind bleach.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't have a hankering for mushroom soup anymore. Right. Well, thank you very much for that, sir. You do know this has to become a more regular thing now. You have to really dig deep.
There are still pits of filth that are just yet untapped.
Lovely. Righty-ho. Well, I guess now it's time to head for our review of 2013. Roll the jingle.
Happy New Year, may we all have a vision now and then of a world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year,
Right, so 2013. How was it for everyone? Well, there was lots of good films. There was lots of bad films. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little round table, so to speak, virtual round table. And what we'll do is we'll go through a good film, one of our top 5, and a bad film, one of our, shall we say, shit 5. So what we do is we'll go round, and that way if we overlap, it sort of saves us having to, double up our vitriol. So, who wants to go first?
I will let Jim go first because I'm still just looking through this
You've
list.
done
I'm
no
picking.
research.
No, I have.
At all.
It's just,
Have you?
I've had a bit of trouble discovering the really bad ones. I've just looked at this and it's like, oh wait a minute.
Yeah, hang
There's
about.
that one. There's that one.
Go on in.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
In which case, go for it, Jim. What was one of your 5 best films of the year?
Well, I'll go for the one that I imagine is going to be on everybody's list.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim.
Oh, yes. Big fucking robots smacking the shit out of big fucking monsters. Oh, go on in. So you really like that, yeah?
It's one of those rare films where you just sit in the cinema and you feel your face is going to fall off because you're just grinning that much. I honestly thought I was going to die and go to heaven from cinematic joy when the immortal line, engage sword, was delivered. And it's kind of giant robot flying through space, fighting a monster, and now he's got a sword.
Nice.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people had problems with it, said, oh, it's dumb and stupid. And it's kind of, dude, it's not Citizen Kane. It's giant monsters versus giant robots. It does what it says on the tin. What's your problem?
Exactly. I don't know what people were expecting from the movie. I mean, it is this century's Independence Day, I guess. It's just big, dumb, and unapologetic about it. I think I thought the effects were brilliant. I thought the monsters were fantastic. I thought the designs were great. I watched it again on Blu-ray with Katie a couple of weeks back, and it doesn't have the impact on telly, but it does still have enough spectacle and stupid moments and fun that you just go, yeah, fine, I'll go with this. You just got to go with it. It's great fun.
It has a great speech by Idris Elba that actually makes me want to go out and just hit somebody. It's just like
with a tanker.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's Pacific Rim. Okay, well, let's go for one of mine while Darren's still looking. Oh, have you come?
I'm there. It's just I've got more favourite films than I have ones that I thought were a bit shonky.
Go on in. We'll list up one of your favourites.
Okay. Are we doing this in order of of like
No.
preference?
No.
Okay.
Because basically it could be that you, well, like just Jim's just done, he's just basically knocked off one of mine off the list, so there's no point in doing it in preference. So,
well, this is it. He's knocked one of mine off the list, and
Yeah.
I have to say that
you bastard.
that
You're fired.
That was my favourite film of 2013.
That was your favourite.
That was my favourite film of 2013, just because of the pure joy and the, reducing me mentally to the age of 12 and till I wanted to go out and become a robot and
Excellent.
whatever. But okay, one of the ones that I don't think you two are actually going to mention, I'll mention, which is Rush.
Oh, okay. No,
which
I didn't see that.
Which is the story of James Hunt and Niki Lauda and
Yes.
their rivalry. There goes Niki Lauda. Oh, and there goes Niki even louder.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Yeah, a film that was both leads in the film played the roles absolutely brilliantly. The guy, I don't know who it was that played Niki Lauda. I can't remember the name of the actor, but he was just superb in the role. And also Chris Hemsworth as James Hunt was just fantastic as well.
Yep.
And it's just, you see these two characters who are totally diametrically opposed to one another. Like James Hunt is all about the fun, and as he says, if you're not having fun doing it, then what's the what's the point?
Yeah.
And Niki Lauda is all about the mechanics of it, and it's not about the joy for him. It's just
the
I don't know.
perfection of it.
It's the science more than anything else. It's more of a process to him, you know. But yeah, just it's really, really well done. It's very well shot. And I mean, there's no spoilers in this because this is an historical. It's a historical documentation of what went on. The crash that Niki Lauda, that he goes through. Jesus Christ Almighty, and it's the fact that it's James Hunt, the rivalry between them that actually helped pull him through what he went through. And if you see what happens to him, he was just that was it. He was just terribly disfigured. And he actually does say that to James Hunt about that. And there's some very nice scenes in it, and where James Hunt is it's brought home to him the sort of his callous attitude, and and both characters have their flaws, and it's just a really, really good film.
Yeah, I like the look of it, but the problem is I have other films I'd rather see. You know what I mean? But yeah, it did. I mean, what was the racing like? Was the racing really
racing
well
was fantastic. The footage, the way they did all the races in it, they do show kind of real footage from the whole thing. And there is a very, coming off the racing angle for a minute, at the end of the film, they do have an interview with Niki Lauda on it, and it's his point of view on it, and it was nice to see they actually included him in the film, and he actually agreed to do it. So it's kind of an endorsement of the final product.
Yeah.
But just a very, very entertaining film, shocking in some of the places.
Yeah.
The whole thing of, well, look, you could die at any second in this. And it's Niki Lauda's reluctance to do. There's one specific race where he does crash. He was very reluctant to go ahead in that race, but James Hunt was like, no, we should do it. Let's do it. Come on, everybody. You know you want to. Yeah. And it leaves James Hunt feeling extremely guilty.
Like he's rhyming slang.
Yeah. Exactly. But the amount of women he went through as well. Jesus H. Christ.
The man was a fuck machine.
He was a fuck machine.
Okay.
James Hunt was a fuck machine.
Cool. So you'd heartily recommend that, yeah?
I would heartily recommend it, yes.
Okie dokie.
Yes, I wanted to catch that and didn't at the cinema, but I'm looking forward to seeing it because I've heard such good things about it. It's exciting and just well performed and an interesting, behind the scenes sort of look of because 70s motor racing, it was nowhere near as safe as it is now.
No, it wasn't. No, not at all.
Right. Okay. Well, that's Rush. Well, one of mine. There are a couple that I think are just going to pop up in everyone's list, so I'll veer around that one. But this one might sort of seem a bit left field, especially seeing as how I've reacted to other films for these guys. Is actually World's End.
Aha.
See now,
Yes.
I didn't like Hot Fuzz, as has been discussed on this podcast several times. I have warmed to it a little bit more watching it on telly over the Christmas period, but I'm still not a fan. This I found really interesting because, as much as anything, the humour doesn't work as well, but as a sort of story about friends and one guy who can't move on and, you know, that kind of thing, I really enjoyed it as a character piece.
Yes.
So it does go a bit crazy and the end's a bit botched, and I don't like the finale. But as a film that kind of wasn't aiming for a straight comedy, I think it did rather well, and I did enjoy it.
I loved it.
And I thought it was a really cool film. Like I say, it wasn't so much for the humour as it was for the fact that, you know, Gary King is quite a shit character.
He's
as a
twat.
person. He's a complete twat.
Yeah, he is a
and
twat.
everyone knows someone like that. I don't know if they know someone like that who won't move on, but, you know, and the whole idea of the pub crawl, trying to recapture your youth, and also because with me, a lot of my fonder memories revert around things that are very retro, like the retro gaming scene and, you know, old films and all this kind of thing. And it kind of struck a bit of a chord with this kind of like, you've got to move on and see what's in front of you, as opposed to just trying to pull back to those old days of, you know, all the friends have to have this relationship with each other and around me kind of thing. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I probably didn't enjoy it in the way that they were expecting it to be enjoyed, as a comedy.
Yeah.
Or as a kind of Dusk Till Dawn style, change things up in the middle of the film. And I also like a lot of the references to things like Body Snatchers and that kind of thing were really cool.
Do you know what I really liked about this film?
Yeah.
Is one of the main things I did notice, and it's the it's been progressing through the three films to get to the final one, and it's the way Simon Pegg's characters and Nick Frost's characters kind of change position as it goes on.
Yes, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
because at the beginning of it, you've got Simon Pegg's character in Shaun of the Dead, who's very much the hero, and you've got Nick Frost, who's like the sideline character.
Yeah.
Then it kind of does, I think it's a slight change in Hot Fuzz, even though, you know, whereas Nick Frost's character
the
is...
sympathies shift, don't
Yeah.
they?
And then by the end of it, it's Nick Frost's character that's actually the hero, and it's Simon Pegg's character, which is taking kind of the back seat to him, because you see the development or what happens to Nick Frost in it.
Yeah.
And he's really the go-getting hero at the end of it. You know, it's he's the one that's kicking ass, much like Simon Pegg's character was in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
You know, so I really like that about it.
Yeah.
It didn't do the same cookie cutter thing for
No.
both actors.
No. Have you seen it, by the way, Jim?
Yes, I caught it over Christmas.
Cool.
And like yourself, I say I enjoyed it as a kind of a comedy drama and a character piece.
Yeah.
And that end coda did have my eyebrows raised. We've got to,
I was the
don't think
opposite.
it needed that, actually.
Yeah.
I really like that personally,
because the thing is, it kind of, the end result is that his selfishness, I mean, you know, leads to mankind's, well, I can't really say because it's a massive spoiler, but the fact is that even then he still comes out on top despite everything that's happened. And to me, that just feels like it's not, it kind of rolls against everything that's happened before. You need to have him fall and fall and fall and fall to realise how far he's fallen, which he does. And then it's just like they throw the coda in and it's like, oh, we've just reset back to square one and he's learned nothing. And it's
no,
like,
his character does change, but he gets his perfect world because he's got his 5 young friends around him.
But that's what I'm saying. He hasn't moved on. He hasn't moved on even after showing that he has. That's the only thing that bugs me. Story-wise, the character arc goes one way and then the coda kind of shows it going the other.
I don't know. I think personally he's a bit more of a stable character by the end of it. It's just something about he doesn't seem so jittery by the end of it. He's
he's not an alcoholic by the end of it.
Well, this is it. You see, he's even changed his appearance slightly as well, and it's like there's it's a little bit of a significance there that you know. I don't know. It just he seemed a lot more of a stable character in that end sequence.
Okie doke.
That's all. So I like that.
Okay.
But
That's fair enough. But, like I say, this was probably my last of my 5.
Yeah.
But it was definitely in there because it needed to be in there because I think it still hung around even after I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's kind of, unlike some films which hung around like a bad smell. Speaking of which, Jim, what's your first shit film of the year?
Well, it's not a shit film per se, but I put it on my list because I think it was probably the most disappointing thing I watched this year. And that was Elysium.
Elysium? Oh, interesting. Yeah. It's not on my list.
Looked fantastic.
Mm.
But, guys, you needed something other than a chase scene as a plot. And the big ending, it's kind of, was that really a victory? I'm not sure it was.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm cynical, but I think the end result was that Elysium will turn into, exactly as Obi-Wan Kenobi described as Mos Eisley.
Yeah, it turns
A
into a shithole.
Absolute fucking shithole.
Actually, that's a t-shirt waiting to happen, isn't it? everyone standing overlooking Mos Eisley going, it's a shithole. Mos Eisley spaceport, it's a shithole.
Did you see Elysium, Lee? Did you watch it?
Yeah.
All right, so we've all 3 of us have actually seen this film. Oh, that's great, excellent. So we can all.
It didn't rate on my worst films because, like Oblivion, it just seemed like there was a lot of ideas that I've seen before, and everything just kind of just dribbled over me. I just kind of was like, whatever.
It was kind of it was an all right fare.
Yeah, I didn't come away being horribly offended, but I didn't come away from it thinking, that's really nice. I just came away thinking, that's pretty much like I did with Oblivion.
It was one of these being Neil Blomkamp and District 9 being such a wonderful surprise.
Yeah.
It was kind of, Elysium was kind of like, that's so meh.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, that I go along with.
Because, it looks great. Charlton Copley is excellent as a psychopath.
Yes.
But it's just kind of like, I'll buy you 2 beer mats you can write the plot on next time.
Yeah, I'll give you the second one.
I'll go and steal some from the local,
Nice.
I've got a fag packet you can use.
Oh, dear. So, Darren, what's your first shit film?
Do you want to know what my shittest film?
You can take it in any way you like.
Because I think people know what my shittest film of last year was.
If you're going to take one from me, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to take one from you because I don't think you've seen this. In fact, I don't know if Jim's actually seen this.
Go on.
World War Z.
I have seen it.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, of course you did. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
World War
Jesus.
World War Z, which takes the wanted style of how to make an adaptation, which is don't. Let's not make an adaptation. Let's just take the name. Let's stand on somebody else's shoulders by putting the name of a really successful book on the front of this film, and then let's just not do anything about that book and just shove any old shit from Brad Pitt's imagination straight in there, or whoever fucking wrote it. I know people didn't mind this film, and it's probably because they've never read the book, so they've got, it's like, it's a zombie movie. That's it as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
But you can't even call this a real zombie movie because these were people who just went around, they were a bunch of nutters who went around giving people love bites. Because that's all they do. They just give them a little bit of a nip. They don't tear people's throats out or anything like that, right?
If you got a cold, they'll avoid you.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you got a cold or you got like you've stubbed your toe, oh, ow,
I'm not healthy enough.
Exactly. So a totally wasted opportunity. It really was. There were no elements. I think there was one element. I thought for one point, after about half an hour after the movie started, I thought, here we go. We're actually going to start getting elements of the book in it. And it was all to do with Patient Zero. And they couldn't even get that right.
Nope.
He was from Korea, Patient Zero. It wasn't in a province in China like it is in the book. So, as far as I'm concerned, a totally wasted opportunity. And one of the biggest tragedies of this is it's going to be about 10 years before somebody else can remake this because they've got the rights. And they'll probably still keep bringing films out because there's a sequel in the offing for this now. So, reset the 10-year clock. One day, hopefully, HBO will just take it and make a TV series out of it.
Well,
who knows? So, yeah, that's my shittest film of 2013.
Shittest film. So, do you want my shittest film of 2013?
Go on, then.
After Earth.
After Earth. After birth.
After a M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong's wank fest which is basically Big Willie Styley's day out with his kid.
The one where they gave away the twist in the actual trailer.
The one whose name is an anagram of the ear fart.
It's nonsense. It's absolute total bollocks from start to finish, and it's got it's just like a video game for morons. You've got to run here before you run out of air. You're on Earth. You run here. You're going to run out of air. Oh, there's too much oxygen in the air. Really? Okay. And we captured a monster that can smell fear, so don't have fear.
Don't shit yourself.
Oh, right. Okay. You can smell.
too late.
He can smell fear. It's a genetically created monster that can smell fear. Really? Oh, wow. So if it's genetically created, wouldn't you have given it fucking eyes?
Why would that would be far too sensible.
I mean, Jesus, it's dumb from start to cocking finish. And by the end of it, by the time he was whizzing around on a Lord of the Rings fucking eagle, I just wanted to shoot myself in the eyes with popcorn. Absolute shit munch. It was total and utter shit munch. I would have sooner tried to actually breathe raw oxygen than oh god, you're almost there. You're gonna make it. Oh, fuck off. It was just a fucking. It was one of those team building fucking exercises that they just happen to film on a green screen. Bollocks. It was absolute bollocks. Oh, you're going to get attacked by oversized baboons. Oh, no. So, anyway, Shamalama Ding Dong can go fuck a lucka offered offer. So, there you go. That's After Earth. Absolute bollocks.
He also did a film called Avatar.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And that was just about as well received by me as the other one was.
Ah,
There's
dear,
a
oh dear.
pattern there, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Don't name your thing Avatar if you want me to watch it. So, anyway, go on in. Who's next? So it's a good film. Jim? Good film.
Good film. This one was a bit of a surprise because it comes from a genre of film that is much derided, which is the classic horror remake.
Uh-oh. Go on.
But I was actually very impressed, and I think, heretically, it might be better than the original.
Uh-oh.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I'm in total agreement with you.
Hold on, is it The Haunting? With Liam Neeson?
No. I'm speaking of the starring Elijah Wood, the remake of Maniac.
Ah, right.
Oh, with Elijah Wood?
Yeah.
I never saw that.
It's really, really good.
Really?
It was directed by a guy whose name I've completely forgotten, but he was a director of cinematography for the guy who did Switchblade Romance, aka Hot Tension, the Hills Have Eye remake.
Yeah, I
and
like the
it's
Hills
kind
Have
of
Eyes.
it's
Sorry, did you say The Hills Have Eye? Is
The
that the
Hills Have Eye.
Kaboshi version?
Yeah, he's like the King and I, except one has new.
Made by Asylum, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shall we dance? Rawr, rawr, rawr. Shall we dance?
2 to 3.
Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, it's kind of it's beautifully shot. The kind of clever thing about it is it's all shot from Elijah Wood, who is the titular Maniac's point of view. So you only sort of see him in reflections and sort of flashbacks. Elijah Wood gives a brilliant performance as this guy who is absolutely off his head. But the way it's shot and with the music, it's, if you can imagine a slasher film made like Drive was.
Okay.
It's that kind of moody, intense, beautiful, synthesis of cinematography, of mood, and of music. It's really creepy, really effective, and just really interestingly made. Really, just grabs your attention. I was very impressed with it because there's a lot of these classic horrors that are remade, and it's normally by idiots. And this actually, really, it gets the essence of the original Maniac, which, yes, it was a slasher film, but it was like a psychological study.
Yeah.
There was reasons for his killings, and he wasn't a man in the mask. He was a fat middle-aged loser. In this, you've got a similar, different sort of story, same concept, and it really works. Very, very impressive. Very impressive indeed.
Cool.
Not what you expect from a horror remake.
Well, no, not really. I mean, but then again, I don't. To be quite honest, I wouldn't have known what to expect because I never caught the original Maniac when it came out. So it's always been one of those, put it on the pile, must watch kind of horror movie classics that I need to catch up with. I mean,
this one I only caught fairly recently because it was one of the nasties, and so it was hard to get hold of until fairly recently. And I only caught it when a few years ago when the Gentleman's Grindhouse did it.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, they're doing that, right? I'll get round. I will watch that now.
Nice. Cool. So, well, there you go. Maniac. That's a nice little recommendation. So that's cool. So we're moving on to Darren. What's your second good film of the year?
Okay, I'm going to go for another one that probably the both of you have not seen, which is Wreck-It Ralph.
No, I haven't seen it.
Wreck-It Ralph. A nice little, I don't know if you can call it a love letter to old video games.
Yes.
Yeah, basically it's got some, it's just a really, really nicely thought out little film. There's some really good humour in it.
Yeah.
You get to see some good old favourites making an appearance, some good old favourite sort of video game characters. And there's some nice parodies on things like Call of Duty and Halo.
Yes.
And stuff like this, and Gears of War and just video games in general. And it's just nice to see behind the what the effect of turning a video games machine off is to the actual inhabitants of the video game world.
Yeah.
Or actually having an out of order sign put on a machine.
Yeah.
How it's this big sort of, apocalyptic disaster to everybody in the machine itself.
Right.
So yeah, it was very nice. Lovely to see one character getting lost within all different game worlds.
Yeah.
And trying to get the fuck out, and some of the shit he causes.
Yeah.
But on the bad guy therapy sessions that all the bad guys from video
but you're
games.
Not bad guy.
Exactly. Yeah, nice little Zangief.
Zangief, yeah.
Sort of like, moment there.
Yeah.
So yeah, animated really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well it actually did. I don't know if it was quite an underrated film. But if you like video games at all, then I think, it's going to be your movie.
Yeah.
I think, so yeah, one of my favourites from last year.
Cool. Excellent. Well, my next one, I think is probably going to be on one or both of your lists. But and all I'm going to say is it's the finest movie I've ever seen Trevor Slattery of Croydon in.
Yes.
It is Iron Man 3. Now,
Indeed.
I know that Ollie wasn't particularly a fan, and you know what? Fuck him. But yeah, it's. I think this film is fantastic. There's not a lot of Iron Man in Iron Man 3, which a lot of people were complaining about.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, Tony Stark is Iron Man. That's the point. It's how he works things out. It's essentially an extended version of the opening 20 minutes of the first Iron Man, really. With him having to work on his wits, on his skills, and on his technical know-how. Sort of like almost a MacGyver movie, but with super high-tech armor and, and exploding plants. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was well-written. I thought it was back to best that we've seen Downey Jr. in.
Yeah.
I think the script was nice and poppy. I think there was lots of humour in it, which I think was lacking from Iron Man 2.
Well, I reckon this should have been Iron Man 2.
Yes.
This is basically where it should have gone next.
Yeah. And overall I thought the gags with the Mark 47 armor were brilliant. Any minute now, sort of thing. And
gave Pepper something to do as well. She was she kicked ass.
Yeah,
she actually saved Tony Stark about 2-3 times. I think it was
exactly. And it was a nice film because also what it did was it returned the Marvel universe back down to a more human level after the events of the Avengers.
Yeah.
So it was a nice coded to that as well. So it worked on a number of levels as just a standalone movie, but also as a kind of fallout from episode, from the first Avengers. So overall, I enjoyed this. I loved the interplay. I loved the clever dialogue banter. I love Sean Black's writing.
Yeah.
His direction's good as well, obviously, and it wasn't smushy. So when it had the kid, it didn't get too slushy with that.
That's what I thought was going to murder the film,
Yeah.
is the fact it's got a small child in it. But after that, I watched it, and it was like, I was pleasantly surprised to find that was one of the highlights. That
especially his
interaction.
final line, it's like to the kid, it's like, "Oh, you're an orphan, so am I." Right, bye.
Yeah.
Sort of life sucks kind of thing. And the ending was a bit fluffed. I think.
Yeah, it's
it could
the
have
whole.
been a lot better.
How many times can Tony Stark fall out of something into another suit?
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah, I think the end was flawed, but overall, yeah, I for sheer sitting there popcorn enjoyment, I just sat there and I just had a bloody good laugh at it.
Great theme tune as well.
Yeah, Brian.
Superb theme tune.
Yes, yeah, Brian Taylor's "Can You Dig It?" Oh, yeah, it's really good. Dan, dan,
Very much
dan,
so.
dan, dan. Yeah. Anyway, which is one of my scores of the year as well. But there you go. But we're not doing movie scores because, I might just go on for a while. Anyway, so there you go. So that was my other film. So we've had Pacific Rim, Iron Man, Rush, Maniac, and Pacific Rim. So yes,
And don't forget Pacific Rim.
and don't forget Pacific Rim.
World's End. as
World's
well.
End.
Don't forget
Yes,
we've had that
that's
as
right.
well.
So, right, now we're on to the shit films again.
Yeah.
So, Jim, what was your second shit film?
Well, this was the movie that I found by turns boring, maddening, and I had to watch the end because I was reviewing it.
Oh, God. Okay.
I think you might know what this is.
I think I do. Go on.
Room 23 Bloody 7.
Oh.
Which one?
Room 237.
It's the documentary on the conspiracy theorist interpretations of The Shining.
Of The Shining,
It is
remember that?
such an annoying film.
Yes.
It would be a brilliant short film
Oh, no.
because the fact people have these theories is interesting,
Mm.
but it goes on and on and on, and you go from that's intriguing
Mm.
to that's mental to I think this person maybe needs help to if I see that cunt, I'm spannering the twat.
Yeah, of course, because it's all about the Red Indians with the tins.
And the
Can you see the
Nazis.
tins and the Nazis?
Well, he types 42 on a typewriter, and that always makes 1942. It's about the Holocaust.
yeah,
And the Minotaur.
Oh, God, the,
The
Minotaur.
Minotaur.
Jesus.
I wonder if some of those people actually got,
Let out.
a free voucher for Specsavers so they could actually, put the glasses on and see that the poster is a bloke skiing, not a fucking Minotaur. Fucking Minotaur. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off.
So there was the Minotaur point, which if I'd been watching this purely for my own entertainment, I'd have turned it off and done unto the DVD what Lee did unto that Star Trek film and chucked it into the street for a
Star
passing
Trek
orange
5.
kiss.
Yeah.
Star Trek 5, The Final Frisbee.
Yeah, the final frisbee. Yeah, that was terrible. That was a fucking awful film.
We all remember the fan dance. Unfortunately. With her with
Anyway,
a big man.
so Room 237, we've all seen it, haven't we?
Yes.
And we all think it's shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
In fact, fuck off was what I actually said through most of the film as I was watching it.
Okay.
Just
Cool.
fuck off. Fuck off.
Just shut up, you fucking idiots.
Stop talking now.
Yes, exactly. Shut up. The bit about the winding the two movies back to front and forward to back. Oh, dear Lord Almighty.
Not to mention, Mr. Everything is a cock.
Oh,
It's a cock, innit?
yeah.
See that?
And the before CGI was invented, we can make CGI clouds with fucking Kubrick's face in it. Oh, Jesus, give me a rest. Right, go on in. So, Darren, what was your next bad film?
My next bad film is one that I'm sure, I don't know whether to actually do this next, because I know there's one film that I think everybody should just steer clear of and let you just go to town with.
Does it have a colon in it?
Colon?
Yes.
What?
In the title.
in the title. It actually, I don't know if it was just one big title or whatever, but I know I can't actually say what this film is, because I think really, I mean, we can't, can we, Jim? We can't actually include it in our list, because I think we should let Lee.
Yes,
I felt like I can't watch it.
Well, anyway, look, I'll move on to another film that I saw recently, then, which was
Go on.
Walking with Dinosaurs 3D. Jesus fucking H Christ. Fucking hell. Fucking hellfire.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought about this some more, and I'm pretty sure that I could hear this whining sound, right? And it was the actual lowering of the IQ of all the children in the audience and the adults at the same time.
Yeah.
Just because you had to have cheeky American voices on the dinosaurs, because, well, nobody would actually understand what was going on if you didn't have cheeky American streetwise voices talking about ninjas, even though this is the prehistoric age and, what the fuck is a ninja?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Even some of the animation was choppy.
Yes.
And I went to see this film with someone who's done animation, so it's like, I got this, the technical aspect.
Yeah. I'm sure Martin didn't let up on that, though.
No, he did actually mention that, as
we heard,
exactly,
yeah.
So, I think, I don't think it treats its audience with enough intelligence, because it pretends to be educational by, when they mention a certain dinosaur, it will bring it up on screen. It will do like a little thing of the Palethosaurus, and you think it's going to give you some fantastic lengthy information about it, but it doesn't. It's just a man who they've paid off the street. They think, you know what? He looks like he could do with a bit of, do with a meal. We'll get him in, and he'll just get him to repeat what the person just said on screen. Palethosaurus.
Palethosaurus.
Yeah, Palethosaurus. So,
Roger Willard.
Yeah. No. I don't know what the original TV series was like.
I've got it on DVD if you want
You
it.
have? I'll probably have to watch it at some point. But
It doesn't involve talking dinosaurs, I'll tell you that for nothing.
I think the film would improve vastly if it just got rid of the actual audio track and just had dinosaurs making noises.
So you want a Blade Runner director's cut of Walking with Dinosaurs, the
Yeah.
movie?
Or
I do.
yakety sax.
Oh, yakety sax, yeah. Just do that with it. So, Walking with Dinosaurs 3D, it's just like
Shit.
eating too many sugary sweets and having that sugary, that horrible, it builds up in the back of your throat and causes you to have a stomach acid attack, that sort of thing. And you can't get rid of it for hours, and it burns and burns and burns. It's a bit like that.
Yes.
Not quite Mr. Popper's penguins, but
No, Popper's penguins pooping in your peepers.
Shitting in Jim Carrey's mouth.
One day we will do that. We'll do that film.
God, if we must.
See, you've signed on in the darkest timeline, Jim.
Yes,
So-
you have, Jim.
Anyway, my next film, I'm not going to have the colon. I can't
Because that's
do
the
that.
the only other film I've got to
As a shit
level
film.
sort of kind of a bit of hate on.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I've
well-
got plenty more, don't you?
Yeah, I was going to say. I've got movie 43.
I saw clips of that.
Movie 43.
Yeah.
It's a comedy that isn't funny. I think that's generally about the size of it. It's like, I think the Farrelly brothers have a load of compromising photos of everyone involved, because I just do not understand how everyone involved ended up in this film. How you get Halle Berry, Richard Gere, Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet,
It's a mega star cast.
yeah, you got Gerard Butler, and various other, big, reasonably well recognised stars turning up in comedy, which, if you see it on paper, you think that could be quite funny. For example, Hugh Jackman with testicles under his chin. You think that's funny, and then he gets some, milky soup on it. and all this kind of thing. And everyone refuses to see that he's got balls under his chin, except for Kate Winslet, who's his blind date. That could be funny. For about 3 minutes. 12 minutes later, and you're still watching it going, yes, we got the gag. It's not funny. Stop it. You're paining me. and yeah, every single gag sits there like a leaden lump of shit on the screen, outstaying its welcome. You know what it's like? It's like that uncle who never goes home at a party. You invited him, you didn't really want him to come up, you didn't really want him there, but the fucker turned up anyway. You were being polite. He turned up, he sat there, he ate all your vol-au-vents at the fucking party. Everyone else has gone home and he's still sitting there flicking through the TV channels, and you're like, fuck off. But I can't tell you to fuck off. And it's just, that's movie 43. It's the unwelcome, stinky uncle who eats you out of house and home and just sits there like a lump. You can't get rid of him.
So you'd recommend it then?
No, it's a piece of shit. It's absolute fucking travesty of a comedy. It's about as unfunny as you can. It's like the antithesis of funny. It's like someone
It's like anti-funny. It
It's like
sucks
someone-
the funny out of the
exactly.
fucking
If
world.
you played it into the street,
Yeah.
joy would be sucked from the world.
So-
That's why they haven't got it on displays in HMV playing. Not because it's offensive, which
Yeah.
it bloody well is, but it's actually a weaponized anti-funny. You could actually turn the whole of Disneyland glum with a single exposure. If you just had it on a projector and you just waved it around, Mickey Mouse would actually slit his throat in front of 400 small children.
So it is the movie equivalent of a Dementor from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Except instead of just touching you and drawing the joy out of you, what he does is he's got a big fucking great dildo of unfunny and he shoves it up your ass.
Great stuff.
There you go. So movie 43. Fuck it. Seriously.
Strike one off the list.
Ding! Right. Anyway, so we're on to good films now.
Yes.
Hooray.
Hooray, go on, Jim.
Right, I'm going for something a bit left field here. A film called CBGB. It stars Alan Rickman, and it's kind of a biopic about the legendary New York club, CBGB's. I mean, for a start, it's Alan Rickman on his best comic, dramatic, deadpan, funny.
Oh my God.
Because the owner is his, guy who's he's a 5-time loser, and he opens his club, and everyone expects he's going to go bankrupt yet again. Not least because he has this large poodle which he just lets shit on the floor wherever it likes in there. But he starts booking all these up-and-coming bands who now are legends, like the likes of Ramones, Patti Smith, Television.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of...
The Police are in there as well, aren't they?
The Police, yeah. It's kind of the people who got their first break playing there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is kind of, Malcolm McLaren always, takes the credit for inventing punk. But CBGB's played a huge role in, ushering in punk and new wave. I mean, Talking Heads, not only did they first play there, like a lot of the other bands, he was actually feeding them for free, and they were dossing there because they were skint and homeless. But it's just a really interesting, fun movie, full of great music, great performances, and just a fascinating, just little slice of history, and just very entertainingly done.
Nice.
Were there any particular? 'Cause, I mean, sometimes you watch a movie about historical events, and some actors really did capture the essence of that person.
I can't remember the guy that playing Jerry Ramone was spot on.
Yeah.
But like standout performance, because it amused me, was Rupert Grint as Cheetah Chrome of the Dead Boys.
That's something of a left field.
Very far from Ron Weasley. I didn't recognise him at first, and it was kind of, I actually know him. I know that horrible gobbing young oik, and it's Ron.
Oh my God. It's Mr. Weasley. Oh, dear. Oh, all right. Cool. Well, that sounds good. I mean, I'll have to check that out. So, Darren,
Yes.
on to your good film next.
Okay. I will go ahead and say it. Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa.
That was on my list.
Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa. Just
So you gotta feel for me, baby. Your lights are on. Feel for me. Your lights are on. Your lights are on.
yes. What a fantastic filmic debut for Alan Partridge. Very, very funny. Very funny indeed. If I've only got one criticism of it, is that Alan Partridge is a bit too cool for the Alan Partridge that I know. Yeah. If you followed quite a bit of a bulk of the Alan Partridge sort of, the back catalogue, there's a certain shit level that he is, and in this he's kind of above that. People actually listen to him and take him seriously, and it's like people don't normally do that with Alan Partridge. But
have you seen the Mid Morning Matters series?
Yes, he's even in there. He's terrible to people. That's what makes him so brilliant, because he's just so horrible. Like with the series I Am Alan Partridge, possibly some of the best Alan Partridge I think that's ever been sort of like consigned to television.
Dan,
yeah,
Dan.
And the great thing about this film is they refer back to that, and you don't have to know it to find it funny. But if you know the series, you're like, no, and it's all nicely subtly put in there. So, very, very funny. Some very nice ideas. You did see it, didn't you?
Yes.
The bit in the office at the beginning.
the bit with his laptop and his
don't
laptop and his glasses. That's all I'm saying.
But he's studying.
Yes, I was looking at the migration patterns of the swallow or something.
Fantastic. Cole Meany's good in it as well as the disgruntled ex DJ.
Radio Norwich.
Yeah, and it's just some really, really nice bits in it. There's good humour all the way through it. Just one of my favourite. I think when I was in the cinema, I don't think there were long periods of time when people didn't laugh. It really was kind of just awful lot of stuff coming in, a lot of jokes in there. Really enjoyed it.
Cool. Okay, well, from very, very funny to
funny in a different way.
Yeah, well, not really. My next film is a documentary, which is very left field, and it's called The Act of Killing. I mentioned it once before. And basically, it's a really weird little documentary. Basically, there was a coup in Indonesia in the 1960s, and it failed. But in the process, the fucking army, or the militia rather, went bit fucking doolally, thinking they were going to take over the country.
Yeah.
And they just went mad, and they just fucking killed people left, right, and centre. But then, when order was restored, all these people just faded into the background, became people in shops and all this kind of thing. And they were quite unapologetic about the acts they did. But this director has got a bit of a bee in his bonnet, and he wants to fucking make them face up to the horror that they, did on people.
Yeah.
And because they're quite casual about it. Oh, I killed 1,000 people. I shot this kid in the face, all this kind of thing. I slit this person's throat, left him in the street, all this kind of thing. And because it was such a sort of one wave of violence.
Yeah.
And so what he does, which is a remarkable little thing, is he finds these people, who are all now in their sort of 60s and 70s and stuff like that. And he basically says, oh, you know what? What we'll do is, instead of you just telling me the story, why don't you and your friend here reenact what you did? The acts of killing, effectively.
Yeah.
And basically, because these people have moved on and because they're further away from the event, when they actually start to do this stuff, at first it starts off as a bit of a joke, like, oh yeah, so my mate, if you can just sit there, and what I'll do is I'll put a little piece of wire around your neck and pull it around a post, so that when I pull it really hard and your head comes off, the blood goes into the gutter and it doesn't get all over me because I can hide behind the post. Ha 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 ha. But as the sort of documentary goes on, all these people basically realise what it is that they've done. It starts off as like play acting, but they end up having to face what the hell they've done. And it's really fucking, it's a powerful, powerful documentary. Seriously, one of those things that you walk away from going, I didn't want to know any of that shit, but it's so well handled and so well done. You just think, but I'm glad I've seen it. If you know what I mean? It's a really hard thing to kind of put across. It's like, I'm glad I've seen it, but I really wish I didn't know the horrible, horrible shit that went on there.
So can I just ask, the result of each of these sections?
Well, some of them are completely unapologetic. They don't change at all. But but a lot of them have to, are basically represented with what they did.
And suddenly it dawns on them what they've done.
Exactly. And so then they have, this one guy kind of breaks down into complete, fucking tears, and then the rest are kind of go all bit quiet, and then, a few others have a different reaction. I mean, it's more of a case of like, it is that whole thing of like, I could tell you a story.
Yeah.
But you're not experiencing the story. So it's only when you're finally sort of sitting there going, and so this is what I did to this small boy. I sat him down here and I got this knife. And when he was looking at me, I just went, "Ugh." He's like, okay, well, let's bring a small boy in and say, what did you do again? And it's like, oh, so I got, and then he's looking at this kid and it's like, it's suddenly, you see something snapping them.
Oh dear.
And it's karma coming back and smacking them in the face. It's like, now you got to face up to what you really fucking did. You can't just brush it off as like a one wild night kind of thing. It's fucking a really impressive documentary. Yeah, it's proper justice, but it's done in a really subtle way. It's not an easy watch, not by a long measure. You wouldn't want to watch it again. Let's put it that way. But really worth a watch. Act of Killing, definitely check it out. Right, okay, well, on to the shit films. So, Jim, what's your fourth shit film? Is it fourth? Or have I done we've done 3 good films, 3 shit. This is their third shit film. Come on.
Right then. Do you remember a few years ago, we all collectively got together and sent the Waylands brothers a memo in 64-point type.
Oh, God.
Saying, those films where you make, they're just like a series of just little bits and bobs, taking the bits out of other films.
Yeah.
Knock it the fuck off. Do you remember that?
Yes. That was Scary
Some
Movie
people
4.
didn't always get that memo. And some bozos made a film called Supernatural Activity, Return of the Spoof, which, very, this is cutting edge because they're taking the piss out of found footage films like The Blair Witch Project.
Wow.
Most Haunted.
About 20 years too late.
Activity. Yeah, Paranormal Activity, The Last Exorcism. There's bits of all of those just thrown in.
Oh,
however,
shit.
Now, obviously this is flogging a dead horse. I mean, he's flogging a horse so dead even the maggots have moved out and gone to raise kids in the suburbs. But what really sinks it is, if it's these things, if they're handled well, they still could be funny. However, they made one crucial error. They didn't put any fucking jokes in it. It was absolutely interminable. Again, I mean, this was a review gig. I had to watch it to the end. I gave it a chance, about half an hour to watch it. I'm sure, it might be like buses. There might be 3 big laughs come along at once.
Yeah.
No. It just went on and on and on until I wanted to pull my own eyes out and stick them on a vegetable because that'd be fucking funnier than watching this dreck.
So you weren't impressed then, Jim?
I wasn't impressed in the slightest. It's just an awful piece of work. It just goes on and on and on. It's just like how it went on this long without a joke, hitting by accident. I have no idea.
Well, like I say, watch movie 43. Maybe we can compare notes after that.
Maybe you'll reevaluate, the film you watch. That's a fucking masterpiece compared to 43.
Well, I don't know. I don't really want to do that because it's like, if he has to watch movie 43, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I want to
trade off there, I think.
Yeah,
I don't watch movie 43.
Can we?
Nobody ever watched Supernatural Activity.
Shall we?
Don't give them any money. They might do another one.
Well, I tell you what, shall we have it as like a Mexican standoff and just take it as read that neither are like the other film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise move. Oh dear. Go on in, Darren.
Okay. So I've got to dip into the shit pile. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go for. I'm gonna have to go for it, mate. I'm really sorry about this, but I know it's probably your big bugbear. You can join in with this. It's a giving
I
experience.
fully intend to.
It's a family experience.
I have no qualms about giving this the hobnail boots treatment.
Okay. I'm gonna say it. Star Trek Into Darkness.
Fuck that film.
Right. Exactly. Now, from my point of view, I was willing to give this a chance, this film, you know. I thought, well, we've heard the rumours about Khan, but they're denying it. So, you know, whatever. I'll go in and see it and see what they've done with this. And, because, I mean, this is the big elephant in the room where this film is concerned, right? It's, it is, isn't it? I mean, it's the whole Khan thing. And as they're getting closer and closer to it, and it's like the alarm bells start going off in my head, and it's like, I know where this is going.
Yes.
I know where this is going.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's gone there. But that wasn't the worst bit, right? Okay. Because what was really bad...
Phoning up future Spock?
No, not Sat-Nav Spock. Sat-Nav Spock, yeah.
Turn left.
Yeah.
That is logical.
Turn left, yeah.
I cannot tell you to turn left, but what I can tell you is if you turn right, it would be a bad thing.
No, it's not even that. What I thought was, because, I mean, the whole thing with the reveal of Khan was just laughable. It's the whole thing of, my name is Khan. And you could just, I mean, had it been a truthful movie, they would have stood there and gone, and my name is Kirk. And this is Spock. And this is McKay. But no, it wasn't that. It's the whole reversal of the death of Spock thing. And I sat there and it's like, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go. Oh, you went there. And it's just like, what was the fucking point?
Cunts.
Yeah.
Just cunts.
You really want to turn this on its head? Have Khan save the ship. Have him die, right?
Have him be a fucking hero.
Yeah, have him be the hero. You really want to flip the fucking switch on this, flip
had
the
a
track, whatever you call it.
RoboCop.
Yeah, do that. Just have him save the ship. But no. And the whole starting of the film, I think that was the point. I think that was the dread. When the dread started setting in, was the opening sequence to the film. It's the bit where the Enterprise comes out of the fucking water. It's like, I beg your pardon?
Because we can't hide in space and beam people down. We
No.
have to hide under the water and have people beamed up from a shuttle.
Because if we beam them down, people might see them beam. But it's okay if we put a great big fucking ship under the fucking sea.
Yeah, a 2 kilometre wide ship, and we're just going to have it rise up because no one will notice that.
No.
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 This film insults my intelligence on so many levels. It boggles the fucking mind. And I tell you what it does do, it makes me really despair for people who like it. Because the thing is, the people who like it are being deflected by the shiny.
I must admit, I tried to defend it in my head to try and make it seem not so bad.
The plot's nonsense. The characters act completely out of character. The conspiracy theory about trying to make a war with Klingon, with Kronos, it's why? And then what? You're building a bigger ship than the Enterprise, and it's a super secret except for the fact there's a model on your fucking desk. And it's like, you know, and we're going to have 41 missiles, which just happen to have all these genetic superhumans in them.
And let's not forget about the fucking turbo space transporting as well.
Oh, we can transport from... Yeah, we can transport...
Subspace transporting or whatever?
Transwarp
transporting. Yes.
Yeah. And you know, and it's not clear whether or not Khan put his men in the torpedoes, which is a stupid fucking idea because obviously, you know...
I'm going to hide my friends in the high explosives.
Yes. And then I'm going to give him a match so that when he wakes up, he can see where he is.
Don't press that button. No.
Or it's Peter Weller, in which case the missiles have no fuel. They have genetic supermen in them, and you're going to fire him at Kronos. So how are you going to fire him at Kronos? Because without the fucking fuel, it would just fall out of the window and just float like a foot off the bow of the Enterprise. So which one is it? But they've still got explosives in them.
Oh, well, you see what they did on that big ship. Okay, the actual whatever it was called. He had the new launch system that you probably didn't notice because there was a big flash of it. What it was
a catapult.
Yeah, exactly. It was a big fucking Y-shaped pole
sponsored
with
by
bits of
Angry
elastic
Birds.
around it. Yeah. So
It's just nonsense. This film is nonsense from start to finish. Every single element of this film, where they try and reverse it from Wrath of Khan, has no weight, has no bearing, has no lead in from the story. It doesn't mean anything. Khan doesn't kill Kirk. RoboCop kills Kirk.
Kirk screws Khan over as well for absolutely no good reason
welcome
whatsoever.
to the email. But it's like so if Kirk dies because he tried to fix the engines which Peter Weller blew up, and then Khan is sitting on a ship that's disabled and can't do anything, then why is Spock looking at Kirk's body and going, Khan? Because Khan might as well have not been there. If he hadn't been there, the same situation would have happened. But no, we have to have Khan because that was in Wrath of Khan and that was really cool.
And we can't not say it.
Because it treats everyone like a bunch of Khans.
And I love the dance secret where they did the Column Khan.
Yes. Fucking hate this film.
So you think it was shit in a Khan?
I just can't believe I even sat there and watched it. It's terrible, terrible movie. And the worst bit of all is you get the Damon Lindelof seal of approval, because what it does is it turns up, it makes a big mystery out of nothing, doesn't pay off the fucking mystery, and then you spend the next 6 months looking on news sites while that cunt turns around and goes, I don't understand why everyone's having a go at me. Well, maybe if you could fucking write a story that has a beginning, middle, and an end, and you're not writing for TV, so you don't have to put a fucking arc point into everything, you cunt hole, you baldy, non-fucking tit face. It's just like genuinely missed opportunity. It didn't just miss the opportunity, it fired it into the sun while it was aiming at the floor. It's a complete and utter fuckwit of a film. If it was a person, it wouldn't be able to breathe on its own without assistance. It's that fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I know vegetables with more fucking depth and variety than this film and make more sense.
It's the one film that won't grace my Blu-ray collection.
No.
Ever.
No. And you know what? Anyone who hates this film and then goes and buys it is another cunt. Oh, by the way, if anyone goes to Danny Graydon's Facebook
wall... here we go.
You might notice that, there may be a picture of a completionist's box set. Completionists.
Completionists.
Also
Is that a word
receipt.
now?
Yes, apparently. So, yes. So that's
another one of my
it's on
big
my
disappointments.
It was on my list as well.
Yeah.
So I've only got like one left.
I've got
two left.
are kind of movies that could have done something, but
okay.
weren't terrible.
Next one is fucking stupid. It's Turbo. Right? Turbo. If you want to see a charmless, unfunny, boring film about a snail that races the Indy 500, this is the film for you. Because
I'd rather see one with the Grim Reaper running it. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could run that fast.
The thing with this film, Turbo, is it's just trying so hard to be street. That's the first problem, which is straight away, as soon as you give snails Tude,
I fucking hate
with Snoop Dogg as one,
characters with
and Samuel L. Jackson owning another conservatory. In fact, he must have a Brico fucking manual full of them now. But anyway, it's stupid. And do you know what? it didn't even have the common sense to use a gag. Let's see this escargot. It didn't even do that.
Didn't even
They
that.
missed
no?
that.
It missed that joke.
That's a crime about if you make a film. It's a number one rule.
If you're making a film about
all those
snails.
great films about snails in history, every single one of them's had that in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Snails.
Can't think of any.
Snails.
Magic Roundabout have done it.
Magic Roundabout.
Several times.
I think they have. So anyway, Turbo, the snail that wants to enter the Indy 500, drinks a magic drink, gets the superpowers to go
Kool-Aid.
fast. Yeah.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid like the audience.
Yeah, exactly. And all the kids were just bored off their tits with it. And I was sitting there with my kids, and they were just looking like, can we go home yet? And it's like, no, you're going to watch this film. It's so fucking crap. And it's got Ryan Reynolds as the main character. So again, it's a DreamWorks film, so every character looks like they have to be in the middle of having a stroke.
Well, I've got some news for you.
Yeah.
You'll be pleased to know that on Netflix, they've got
Turbo 2.
Turbo, the series.
Oh, fuck off. Turdbo. Like fucking big curly turd.
Subo.
Yeah, Subo. Turbo, Turdbo.
Turbo
Oxbow.
Subo.
Oxbow Lake. Anyway, it's a big pile of shit, and you know what? As much as I adore my kids, that piece of crap will never, ever grace my DVD collection. It won't even grace my digital download collection. It's fucking crap. I can only imagine the only thing worse than that would have been Planes, but luckily I didn't see that. But anyway, there you go. Turbo. Avoid it like the plague. In fact, avoid it like a syphilitic fucking snail that wants to climb up your pole. Anyway, so next tagline. There you go. Right on the poster. So now we're on to number 4 of the good films. Jim.
Good films.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, here's a film. When it was Halloween, I always like to line up a good, hopefully scary film for the actual night. One I've not seen before, which obviously is a risky business.
Yes.
But I actually picked 2 this year, and both were belters.
Go on.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about extremely bloody and violent French film called Insides.
Ooh, now, yes,
which
vaguely.
I've not heard
which
of
is
that.
woman stalked in a house, but she's a pregnant woman. It's unbelievably
God,
bloody,
yes,
brutal,
yes.
tense, and just downright disturbing.
Yeah.
Now, the directors, their next film is a film called Livid, which I saw they had on Love Film.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd heard good things about Livid. At the same time, I was a bit wary, having seen Insides, which was a very tense watch indeed.
Yeah.
But I thought, these are guys that can really throw the blood around. But what makes Insides good isn't the amount of blood and violence. It's the fact it does really put you on the edge of your seat. Proper John Candy, Steve Martin crapping the dashboard sort of tension.
Yeah.
Now, Livid is an entirely different kettle of fish. It's beautifully shot, beautifully made, and it starts out as a story in one vein. Essentially, there's a girl, and she's got a job as a care assistant, and she's training. She goes around with a district nurse, and they have a round of old and infirm people they visit. One of these is an old woman who lives in this big mansion who's reputedly very rich. So her and her slacker boyfriend decide they'll pay her another visit in the middle of the night because she's nearly deaf and blind, and help themselves.
Yeah.
And so you think it's setting up for one kind of horror story, but I can't really say much too much about the plot because it shifts not once but several times, and it is it's just wonderfully inventive. It's wonderfully creepy, and the fact it just keeps twisting and turning, and the plot gets more and more strange. It's just really, really engaging. It's if you like the dark imagination of Pan's Labyrinth, give Livid a watch.
Yeah,
it's that kind of quality film.
Right.
Looks like
really
that's
good
one of
storytelling.
my to watch on my Love Film. Then
Cool.
Nice.
That sounds really cool. Okay.
And there's also lots of really nice nods to and little hidden homages to classic other horror films. It's like when her and her boyfriend meet up and plan to go and return to this mansion at night and help themselves.
Yeah.
The pub they're in is the French for the slaughtered lamb. It's
Nice.
lots of little things like that in it, just little
Nice.
drop lines and sort of very subtle nods of the hat. Very good.
Cool. That sounds good. So, Darren,
Okay.
fourth good film.
The fourth good film. Something I'm not going to get a bad taste in my mouth actually reviewing.
Go on.
I would have to say Anchorman 2.
Anchorman 2, late entry.
Anchorman 2, late entry. It does qualify because it just got in the door there.
Yeah.
I think it's like officially the last film. It was the last film I saw of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Anchorman 2. Now, a lot of people really rave about Anchorman 1, but if you're honest and you view that movie, without the rose-tinted specs on there, you'll find that there's about 5 sections through Anchorman 2 that are actually full of comedy, and the rest of it is an awful lot of dead space between those.
Yeah.
What Anchorman 2 is, it goes, right, we know we had a lot of dead space in the last one, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and fill those spaces with more comedy.
Yeah.
And if you thought it got a bit mental in Anchorman 2 with the big fight sequence, or in Anchorman with the big fight sequence,
Yeah.
you haven't seen anything yet. Trust me. It
Right.
takes stuff like that and it amps it up. And I'm not joking. It gets to completely and absolutely ridiculous levels of just the cameos
Right.
in this film. It's just like you sit there. It's like, Jesus Christ, fucking hell! And it's the most cameos turn up during this sort of like this fight sequence.
Okay.
I won't say too much about it, but believe me, it just goes absolutely mental.
Right.
But I thought it was funnier than the first one, just basically because it had an awful lot more to laugh at in this. It's crazier than the first one as well. And like I say, I think it's probably a better movie than the first one. This one actually is a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of crazy comedy I think the first one people would have you believe it was. But really Anchorman is just, I mean, it's a funny film, but it's not, I don't think it's as funny as number 2.
No.
I thought
Okay.
number 2 was funnier just because it had
Interesting.
more jokes in it. It
Okay.
had more comedy in it. I think the star of the show, the one actually steals this one, is the character of Britt Tamlin.
Well, he
played
did
by-
last time.
Yeah, but he does so even more in this.
Right.
Because in this he has a bit of a romance. And it's his love interest is played by the absolutely fantastic Kirsten Wiig
Right.
from
Nice.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
She's in fact there's quite a few Saturday Night Live people in it. And she is the sort of like the female equivalent of Britt Tamlin.
Oh.
But in a different way.
Yeah.
It's some of the stuff she comes out with, what her problems are.
Yeah.
And the scenes with those two together are just brilliant.
Yeah.
They really are. So yeah, Anchorman, it was a bit touch and go, because you know what some sequels are like for some films, very successful. It's like, this is either going to be really shit or really good. I think personally, and I must admit, me and Laura were laughing a lot. It falls into definitely a better film than the first one.
Excellent. Cool. Right. Well, it's over to me then.
Yes.
My fourth film, I've just got to pull this one out of the bag. I've been dancing around it. It's my number one film, but I think I was going to put this as the last one to say, but you know what? Fuck it. Gravity.
Right. Okay.
Now, let me guess, you haven't seen it still, Jim?
Nope.
Ah! Son of a... You're fired. No, Gravity. It's a 96-minute lean roller coaster of a movie. I enjoyed it from start to finish. I think it's visually astounding. I think the visual effects work that Framestore did is par excellence. It's the first film I've watched in 3D that actually seems to even deserve it. I enjoyed it on so many different levels of just a ride, a thrill ride. I found there wasn't a moment wasted. It's just one long sort of peril sequence to another. Visually, it's amazing. And, okay, the script gets a bit corny in places, and there's one fake out which kind of doesn't really work. But overall, I would say that it's probably my film of the year purely because it gets in and it gets out without much fuss. There are films, which I will discuss in a minute, which hang around for fucking forever and never go away, no matter what you do. And you will sit there and you'll watch it and you just go, get on with it, get on with it, get on with it, get on with it. Whereas Gravity, by the time you think it's ramping up and it's going to go on for another hour, it ends. And you're like, brilliant. I've had a condensed action ride, which reminds me of what it was like to be back in the cinema when I wasn't a cynical, horrible, heart as black as coal bastard that I am now. I just sat down, and me and Carol in an empty cinema, we watched it from start to finish, and we both came out white knuckles going, fucking hell. And that, for me, was all I needed from that film, and it did it, and it delivered it perfectly. Bullet from a gun, perfect, laser-pointed tension movie. There you go, Gravity, definitely.
Yeah, I went to see, no, we went to see that as well.
Yes, and
I thought it was a good film. Where the length of it was concerned, I thought, and there were one or two scenes, personally, I thought it's like, all right, come on, move on now. Let's turn the camera away from what you're looking at and just, can you look at something else now? You know, I thought one or two scenes kind of, for me, outstayed their welcome. And it seemed to me a little bit longer than 90 minutes.
Really?
In places, yeah.
Right.
But apart from that, no, visual effects are stunning.
My slipper's fallen off.
It's really nice to see. I don't know if she's had a really, what a track record for films are, but from what I know of her film output, it's nice to see Sandra Bullock actually in a film where she's, she's doing some really decent acting. It's not a twee film at all.
No.
And there are some definite sort of moments where she's, the emotional, her state is close to breaking. If there's the trick out I think you're talking about, I actually found it a relief when that, when a certain thing happens.
Yeah.
It's like, it made me smile when that trick out began.
Yes.
Right. And it was a bit of a, it was a nice relief. And it was actually like the feeling you get when you see you're in a bit of a shit situation and suddenly a friendly face sort of like, comes back into your life after a while. It's that kind of feeling.
Yes.
It's that kind of, that kind of welling up.
Yes.
That sort of thing. It's that.
Yes. The outpouring of relief.
Yes, that's I can't,
Okay.
Yeah, it's that. Without,
Is Gravity on your list? For your top films?
Yes, it was actually in the list of films that I enjoy. I mean, because as I say, there's a lot of films I saw that I really enjoyed. There were only about 3 or 4 films that I took a chance on, and most of those, one of them was one that I got for free. The other one was one that I should know this. When Laura doesn't want to come and watch something with me, it's normally a bad sign.
Yeah,
and that was World War Z.
Yes,
but it's kind of like the whole adage of if you don't go and watch it, you can't criticise it.
No, that's true.
Right. So yeah, Gravity, excellent film. Definitely one of the better films of 2013.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's head and shoulders above an awful lot of stuff that was released out there.
Cool. Right. Okay. So now we're on to more shit. More shit. Go for it, Jim.
Well, another terrible film I endured.
Mm.
Being a reviewer is not an easy job, folks, sometimes. An extreme horror film from Canada called Thanatomorphos.
I was waiting for this one to appear on your list.
The Natamorphos.
Yeah, go on. You explain it,
Yeah.
Jim. This is a good one.
Oh,
You love
basically, it's the tale of a woman who wakes up one day and finds she's rotting.
this one.
Oh,
And
yes,
she
I remember you
rots.
mentioning this.
And rots, and rots, and rots, and so does the bloody movie. It's absolutely interminable. I mean, it's very disgusting, it's very icky, but the problem is there's no character, there's no real story, there's no context for this to happen. It's setting out, I assume, with the arty conceit of, see, it's symbolic. She's rotting physically because she's dead on the inside already. But there's just not nearly enough of it. The few dialogue scenes that give you a sliver of plot that made me deduce that are filmed in that really annoying indie filmmaker mumblecore fashion, so you can't really hear what they're saying, and it just goes on and on and on. Now, nearly all the actual makeup effects are practical, and they're very good. But it's dull. It's just boring. After half an hour of watching it just putrefying, you're just going, so, next,
And
what?
yes.
There's a tower defense game on my tablet. No, put it down. I've got to watch.
Kingdom Rush.
What's going on Facebook?
It's just, it goes. If it was a short film, half an hour, it would work really well. But like an hour and 40 minutes, it's just like, I think I'm beginning a decay now.
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I think, if you saw it when you were, say, 16, 17 and really impressed by gore effects, you might think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because essentially, the fly, the Brundlefly sequences of where he's transforming,
Yeah.
or Frank's transformation throughout Hellraiser. Imagine if you just took
God,
them and
yeah.
made a film of them. You'd be amazed. But
Yeah.
as it is, it's kind of, there's no story, there's no commentary. I mean, even if you just kept a diary, day 16, my fingernails have fallen off. It would give you something. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, interminable and disgusting. Avoid.
Now that's a little banner across the top of the poster. There you go. God, yeah, right. Well, we'll and what's that called again? Just so we can
Thanatomorphos,
Thanatomorphos. There you go. Okie dokie. Right.
which I believe is a French phrase for dead bollocks.
Complete shit. Go on, Dow. Have you got another? No, you're shaking your hands.
I've got to say, I
You've
was
not
going to say Oz the Great and Powerful, but I don't mean that in a this is a really, really shit film. It was just
disappointing.
Slightly. There were some nice visual effects in it. I don't know. It was just one of those films I think probably could have been better. It really could have. I don't know. It's just, looking at my list of films from 2013, I don't think I saw, unless there was something
You
I
never
saw,
saw a
straight to
bad
video.
film. Okay.
Well, no, I did see some, as I've mentioned before. But I think fortunately I managed to kind of dodge
a bullet,
most of the shit bullets.
Okay.
Unlike yourselves that have gone out and
found them.
Well,
well,
films. Okay, films that could have been a lot more than.
Mention Prometheus again.
No, I'll mention. I'll mention.
So bad it reaches through time.
If I've got to go to any level, I'll say films that could have had a potential but didn't quite reach them and were just all right.
Yeah.
Oblivion.
There you go.
With Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was a terrible film because it wasn't terrible. It was just
everyone else's film.
It was just all right. You know. It was very nice visual effects and that, but
I've seen Noon.
My dad saw that and he walked out 2/3 way through going, I know where he's going.
Yeah, that's pretty much the problem. It is a film that just feels like you know where it's going in every single step of the way.
Yeah.
And it acts like it thinks it's clever.
The whole thing about what or who Tom Cruise actually is and how the enemy uses that. You know, all right, that's very nice, but to tell you the truth, you're telling me that this is the why do you need to do that? Why can't, if you're going to take over a planet, why not just,
take it over?
Why not just have an army of something? You don't have to be nice about it, because apparently from what goes on in this film,
you're going to,
he wasn't meant to be nice to what they how they use it. I can't say it without actually spoiling it. But it's like you had this bogeyman that you already put in there. You had this alien, this alien race that apparently invaded the planet and wiped everything out. Why couldn't you have just gone with that?
Yeah.
Because I say there was some nice build up to it. It was the whole mystery of what these creatures were, and this, the remnants of their army being still on Earth, and him sort of like having to hunt them down with the drones and that. But it could have been. They could have taken this movie and made it better. I think.
Yes.
It's just an all right film, but for the budget, it's a wasted opportunity.
But it's everyone else's film. It was Moon. It is that whole thing of you feel like you've seen all of this before. That's the problem. It just felt so over familiar.
And of course, it had Morgan Freeman in it again.
Yes. I'm talking about the Penguin.
Yes.
Anyway, I remember Andy Dufresne.
Have you seen the size of my conservatory?
I'll spell color. Anyway, right. Well, my next shit film, I don't know. I'm probably going to get absolutely hammered for this one, or maybe I won't. It's a film I've seen recently, and it's a film which I don't think you've seen yet, but it's like Anchorman. It's snuck in.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to see it, if I'm honest. But I did. I won't go into the whys and wherefores, but The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Oh, you did go and see it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is otherwise known as Donkey Kong Country, the Dwarf Edition.
So, what you're trying to tell us is your opinion of this is no higher than it was of the first
film. No. I mean, why I would even want to see this film in the first place, okay, shoot me, whatever, I made a mistake. The thing was, a lot of people were saying this film's an improvement on the first one, and you know what? It is. It's already underway, so that's fine, the story's underway. But in a film that's called The Hobbit, you would kind of hope that The Hobbit was in it, instead of disappearing and being bookended by other stories. He basically vanishes for like half the film.
It's filler.
And that's the problem. The whole film feels like filler. There's an appearance by someone big in Lord of the Rings, and I'm not just talking about Legolas, who in this one is a complete dick. Okay? But that's because he was younger. 40 years have really mellowed him in between the two films. Oh, fuck off. I don't care. He's a douche in this, and you want him and they've made it so he can practically fucking fly. But anyway, I mean, he does. I mean,
Gilly.
Yeah, exactly. I can fly. Literally, you could make up a montage of shots where you're staring up at a fucking elf floating about somewhere. But anyway, the scenes with the dragon, very good. But in the end, there's a nice cliffhanger, but there's fucking nearly 3 hours of let's tie it into the Lord of the Rings, because fans like these things. And it's just like, oh, fuck off.
Do you know what?
Just tell me the fucking Hobbit story. The Hobbit story in this film is about 20 minutes at the beginning, about 30 minutes at the end, and then there's fucking 2 hours of extended universe. Wank, 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 wank. And there's probably someone sitting in a flooded field in Dorset with a fucking wizard's hat on going,
oh no, this is absolutely the best thing I've ever seen. And as you can tell by the Silmarillion, it does recount Thorin Oakenshield's
fight of the five armies and it's like, oh, fuck off. Just tell me a story that's fucking entertaining. Don't cock about with dwarves going down a rapid in a fucking barrel for 30 minutes. It's not an entertaining fucking set piece. It's just boring. And the whole film is more exciting than the first one, but is still fucking boring. You feel like if you lifted all the bits from the Hobbit book and put them side by side, you would end up with a 25-minute film.
Do you know what? The fact that we have to say, oh, the previous Hobbit film, it's like that's like why do we need to say this?
No,
we don't.
And that's the thing.
One film.
It feels overly padded. It feels overindulgent. It feels slow and sluggish and tedious and plodding, even in the action scenes. And you just, by the end of it, you're just sitting there going, look, can we just get to the fucking dragon? Can we really? And okay, this is quite funny. Hobbit's whizzing off his tits in Milkwood. He's going off his nut. That's all fun. But you know what? I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And I don't care about any of these characters. And fucking Richard Armitage's Thorin is a complete dick.
Yeah.
And by the time you get into the Lonely Mountain, he's fucking been a dick all the way through it. And you're like, oh, fuck off. Who's helping you to do anything? You know, when it started in the first Hobbit, it's like, oh, Mr. Baggins, you want to go on an adventure, sort of thing. And it's all very, you know, fucking Werther's Originals. You know, come and sit on my knee. Don't worry, I'm not Jimmy Savile. Have a sweetie.
I'm going to sit here and stroke my Hobbit.
Yes, I'm going to stroke my wizard sleeve.
Whoa.
But the thing is, right, it goes on like that. By the end of this, it's like, it feels like Bilbo's been fucking kidnapped. Basically, he's not having an adventure with some plucky fucking dwarves. He's on the way to doing something with a dragon. By the end of it, you're like, I don't fucking care. I want all of you cunts to get eaten, every single one of you. And then, do you want me to tell you this?
Go on.
You get an appearance by Sauron. Sauron actually turns up in this film.
What?
Yeah. And so it's like, then it's like, oh, there's Sauron. And so then it kind of makes, they've tried so hard to tie it to the fucking Lord of the Rings films that they've gone the other way. They've gone over the edge. And so when Gandalf sort of gets that moment with Sauron, it's like, so what, you conveniently forgot for 40 years that this guy that you thought was dead 1,000 years ago has suddenly miraculously appeared in this bunch of ruins over here. That's handy.
Well, to be fair, that's Tolkien's fuck up.
Well, maybe it is, but is that actually? That's not actually in the Hobbit book, is it?
From what I remember,
from
it's
what
not,
I
no.
recall, Sauron's not.
No,
in it at
it's
all.
not. I mean, this is all this extra stuff is all the bits
It's
from the Book of
it's
Lost
the
shopping
studio
lists
one,
and
yeah, fucking another
all the other
fucking
Christopher
trilogy.
Tolkien's. His career
Yeah,
of publishing every last scrap his dad wrote.
Yeah, some of the stuff which wasn't put in for a reason because it doesn't fucking make sense, like that. I mean, it's like that's the thing. So by putting all this crap in to pad it out to make it 3 films, you've actually put in shit that just has no. It just doesn't add anything. All it does is make the other films lesser because you're suddenly thinking, well, hold on, how come Gandalf hasn't been sort of prepping for this? You know, for years. You know, how come it's like, oh, we're going to go and get the ring and go for a run? It's like to the Mount Doom. Why are you doing it now? Why are you doing it now? Why have you waited 40 fucking years for this? You know, that's the thing. It kicks the legs out from under Lord of the Rings, and it bores the arse off you, and it has an extended scene from Donkey Kong Country on the Nintendo 64, which is just like, you know, with a bunch of dwarves in barrels being attacked by orcs who are being attacked by elves who are all flying about like they've got fucking, like they're made of fairy cake. I mean, they're just floating around. It's just so fucking boring.
Do you know what you say about trying to tie it all in?
Mm.
I think somebody making the film missed the fucking point because I thought Bilbo Baggins was actually in the Lord of the Rings. There's your tie-in.
There you go. That's
Thank
all
you.
you need.
That's all you need.
But anyway,
It's
yes.
all anybody ever needed.
So the thing is, by the end of it, you end up with a pretty fair cliffhanger, in fairness. But knowing what I know now, all that the third film's going to be is the Battle of the Five Armies. And it's like, is that it? Are we going to have a 3.5 hour fucking punch-up?
Yep.
Because if that's the case, and that wasn't in The Hobbit either, the book, it's like, oh, just count me out. It's so fucking tedious movie. Such a tedious, overblown shitfest.
It's a classic example of a studio wanting another successful trilogy, and people will lap it up. Lots of people will lap it up.
Well, it's very telling that Guillermo del Toro, when he was working on it, said 1 film, possibly 2. The day he left and Peter Jackson came on board, they went trilogy.
Yep.
It's like, what? How? How have you
One
managed
film.
to miraculously find 1.5 extra films?
1 film is all you needed for that.
Yeah, exactly.
To make the pamphlet that is The Hobbit.
Yes. So there we go. That's my shit film, number 4.
You know, I'm just looking at the time here.
I think what we might do is we might break this down into the set. Next week, we will have all the feedback.
Yes, you want to do that for next week?
I think
yes?
it's probably not a bad idea.
Let's do that for next week.
I think so, because it's now, 12:30.
Yes. So
Start as we mean to go on.
let's finish our choices.
Yes, okay, so that was that. So that was our fourth film, but possibly 5th if you had
That's a full
overlaps.
shit film.
Yeah, but that was my 5th because you had Star Trek Into Darkness, which was on my list. Cunt.
Well, I've got no more really.
So you nicked my only other one, yeah?
Because that's the only
son of a
three I
bitch.
fucking really-
Right, okay, Jim. So what's your 5th good film?
Well, my 5th good film is the other movie I watched on Halloween night.
Yes.
This was a blind buy, independent film. Which I bought on Blu-ray from the makers, from a website, as they get more money that way than if you bought it through other, like Amazon or whatever.
Yep.
And I bought it because Stephen Volk, who famously wrote Ghostwatch, among other things, he praised its atmosphere of creeping dread.
Ooh.
So I thought, okay, I'll give this a go.
Yeah.
And it's called The Casebook of Eddie Brewer. It's made and set in Birmingham. And it is about, it's a familiar trope. It's a story, of a ghost hunter on an investigation.
Right.
However, what's interesting about it is it's a bit found footagey because there's a documentary crew following him, but it isn't a found footage movie because kind of intercut with that is you have other scenes that you're seeing from CCTV and other that are sort of filmed with handheld cameras, but are actually sort of happening really, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So it has that kind of found footage intimacy, but because it isn't purely found footage, it gets out of a lot of the found footage problems of like, why aren't people just running for their lives? And all the kind of those sort of narrative things that can take you out of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it isn't, he's got several cases on the go, and it's kind of, he's not a believer, he's not a skeptic, he's somewhere in between the two, and you just follow him about, and he has a backstory. It's, beautifully acted, beautifully played. It does just kind of, as things go on, you start seeing that things start to tie in together, and it all centers around this one particular core case he's investigating. Set in this old Georgian building where she's now offices, but something very unpleasant is beginning to manifest.
Yeah.
But it is just genuinely, it's a proper British take on the ghost story, and where if there's a Hollywood movie, by the third act, the special effects crew would have gone mental. There'd be people flying and vomiting and CGI demons. But this keeps it a lot more down to earth, but it's scarier because of that. You know what I mean? Because
well,
I watched The Conjuring, which I really enjoyed, but by the third act, it's kind of, you've crossed a point into fantasy where, because everyone you can relate to, kind of, you might see a figure in the dark. You can believe that. You know people who've had that sort of thing. But you don't know people whose heads have span around and floated in the air and vomited maggots. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And So it's a really good sort of modern 21st century sort of successor to things like the Stone Tape and Ghost Story for Christmas, and it's got that sort of feel to it, and
nice,
just well made, well written, well acted, made for like next to now, but you know, the format lends itself to that, and it uses it well.
Cool.
Genuinely really creepy. I did, you know. I have to have the lights on and watch some cartoons afterwards.
Oh, blimey! For you, sir, that's quite something.
Wow,
bloody hell!
Like, you know, I know my house well. Normally, I'll happily just go to the kitchen or go upstairs to the toilet in the dark. After that film, I think I'll have a few lights on tonight.
Oh, I think I'll put that on the fuck that pile. Yeah, cool. Okie dokie. Well, Darren, your last good film, please.
My last good film. Okay, I'm going to make it I think I'll make it a biggie. Although this might already be on your list.
Go
on. Man of Steel.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that out there.
You're going to put that out there?
I'm going to put that out there.
You're going to put that out there?
Yes. I'm gonna put that out.
You're going to have to forgive me, because after all the shit that you gave it...
No, hold on. Do you not remember what happened during the podcast?
I did eventually talk you round, I think.
Well, it's sitting there thinking through the movie. And I've been totally honest about this. Unlike some people who watched it and, you know...
hated it and keep hating it on Facebook.
Really, really liked it to begin with, and then suddenly turned around and hated it and denied all knowledge.
And then bought it on DVD. Don't eat Graydon!
Anyway. No, personally, I've been totally open with the fact that I had a big problem with this movie when I first watched it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
And the main reason is the end of the film.
Yeah.
Well, 2 points at the end of the film. But I've come to terms with the major one that everybody else seems to have a problem with.
The several trillion pounds people dead.
It's not so much that, because I can... and there's... I look at the way... If you think about the way Superman is brought up, okay, this is not... This is a different take on Superman. Now, the thing with Superman is a lot of... I feel that a lot of Superman's goodness, a lot of the way he sees the world, is very much thanks to Jonathan Kent.
That's right.
Right, he takes an awful lot of his signpost from that man. Okay,
Yeah.
Look at the way that Kevin Costner plays Jonathan Kent.
That's right.
He's not the same Jonathan Kent that we're used
No.
to. He's not the same friendly old man. This is a man who's quite scared.
Yes.
Okay, he's scared about this young boy who he treats as his son being found out as being something completely different, and he's worried about what the world will do to him should he do that. And he's worried to the point of literally sacrificing people's lives,
including his own.
Well, not just that. It's how it's. I think Jonathan Kent could be summed up in one exchange between him and Clark Kent, where Clark Kent turns to his father. His father's sort of like... there is a scene in the film, and you do get this, where he saves a busload of children when he's very young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen this film, by the way, Jim?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And Clark Kent says to his dad, who's kind of having a go at him about what he's done, he says, well, what was I supposed to do? Let them die? And Jonathan Kent comes out with, maybe. And it's like, there's your excuse.
Yeah.
There's your
reason.
Why do people have a problem with the way Superman is turned out with this? It's the Jonathan Kent character that's the most... I feel he's a lot more flawed than the a lot of the Jonathan Kents that have gone before. You watch things like Smallville.
Yeah.
You know, he's sort of like, even though he's very worried about his son being found out, he's always about doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know? And this Jonathan Kent is very much...
do the right thing by himself.
Don't do the right thing if it's going to get you found out at all. You know, you can't be found out. Fine. If people have to die because of that, then they die. And that is basically the message that Jonathan Kent is putting across to his son.
Yeah.
You know, fine, he does sacrifice his own life, for that cause, but it's the fact that this Jonathan Kent, I don't know, I mean, the phrase darker is used an awful lot in films about a certain thing. if we've got if that's the only phrase that you can
Mm.
put towards his character, then fine. Jonathan Kent is a little bit more of a darker character than his predecessors.
Yeah.
I think he's not a two-dimensional character. This one, he's a human being.
Yeah.
You know. So when people talk about how he's not thinking about people around him when it comes to that big scene, it's like, well, he's been thrust into this situation he didn't want to be thrust into.
Yeah.
He's learnt from his dad that he shouldn't be in that situation, that he's got to keep himself hidden.
Mm.
Okay, and yet there is something within him that says,
No, you
no,
got to
I've got to do the right thing, because there is that thing in Clark Kent of wanting to save people, and his dad tries to beat that down out of him. I feel anyway.
Yeah,
that's my point of view.
Very true.
And so what you've got is a Superman who's struggling against disappointing his father and also wanting to help people. And it's like, he loves his father. He loves Jonathan Kent an awful lot. I mean, his death affects him.
Yeah.
That's it. And so you've now got this little bit of a quandary where he's concerned. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a plus to the character.
It's an added flaw to
Yeah.
stop him from being an unstoppable god.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's a flaw that's put in there that I think makes him a bit more interesting. He's got that struggle within him.
Yeah.
now. You know, he's coming to terms with it. Where certain aspects of the ending of the film are concerned, the other big thing, which a lot of people had a problem with, as long as they deal with that
in the next
film, and they show the repercussions on him
of
spiritually and whatever, and he makes a certain promises.
Well, that is, yeah.
Then I really don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's relying on us, or we're relying on the fact that they're going to follow this through as a second part of a story, as opposed to, oh well, that was that story and move on.
Well, even if they deal with it in a 10-minute segment where he kind of makes a certain declaration, then I've got no problem with it.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, well, he was just starting out. He's been, he's not growing up doing all this superheroic stuff. He was put on the spot.
Yeah.
It was either the Earth or this.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And the planet was being destroyed by drum and bass.
And the planet was being destroyed by drum and bass. Yeah.
But anyway.
Exactly.
Cool.
And yeah, I still have a problem with the Clark Kent side of his personality, and with the realism they try to introduce into it. I think the whole Clark Kent secret identity really.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, Lois Lane knows. That's the thing. You see it at the end. She goes, "Well, welcome to the planet."
Yeah, I know, but it's the whole thing of him with the glasses thing again. In this Superman, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, no one's seen him yet, so that's because everyone who saw him is dead under a ton of rubble.
Well, unless he's going to be like he's in The Dark Knight Returns in the next film, I think we're going to have a bit of a problem.
Yes, true.
But
we'll see how it goes.
But no, that's a very small thing. Apart from that, I thought it was done very well.
Okay.
I thought it made sense personally.
Cool. Well, that's good.
Sorry, I've rambled on a bit.
No, it's fine. I think I'm just reeling in shock that we did finally.
And I did actually mention that on the podcast.
You did.
It was,
I know. I'm remembering it now as you're saying it.
Yeah.
I'm just first time I've won anyone round by convincing them, by talking them down.
It's mainly making me think about what I've seen and actually thinking about the movie, and not letting that fucking white elephant at the end block out the light from the rest of the movie, because there was an awful lot of good in that film.
Yeah, I loved it, but now you've taken that away from me. That means that I'm going to have to think of another one very quickly.
I'm sorry.
Jump in. Son of a bitch. No. Okay, my last good film then, which is purely off the top of my head at the last minute, is Riddick. No. No.
I've got.
No. There's a number of notable sort of movies which wouldn't have made it to my list, but I enjoyed. I mean, there's Blackfish, which is the documentary about the killer whales in SeaWorld. But you know what? Fuck it. Another film which I just... First time I watched it, I thought, yeah, it's okay. Second time I watched it, lot of fun with it. That's Thor 2.
Yes.
The Dark
Indeed.
World. It's not a perfect movie. It's certainly not one that would have made my top 5 if it wasn't for someone knocking out fucking Man of Steel. But no, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. It's again, it's like fucking Iron Man 3. It's a film which kind of handles the aftermath of other films, but also stands alone as a good film.
Yeah.
Ends up with a nice little cliffhanger. Done fairly lightheartedly, tongue-in-cheek, good fun. Can't really complain about it because, you know, it does what it says on the tin.
It certainly
You go
does.
in there, you want Chris Hemsworth loading it up, punching people with a big hammer.
Yeah.
You get that. I thought it was a bit slack in the middle, but I think every moment that Tom Hiddleston's on there, he's basically devouring the screen and essentially writing checks in the future for his Comic-Con appearances. And,
Yeah.
you know, it was fun. I mean, there are films which I enjoyed more intellectually, like Blackfish and like our Act of Killing. But then there are also films that I didn't have as much fun with. So I for me, you know, if Man of Steel's off the table, then I'd say go for Thor 2 because I just sat there and just had fun with it.
Do you know, I think instead of making this our top 5, because I think we've made a few compromises because people have mentioned, I think we could just say films that we've liked through 2013, you know.
Oh, see, now we moved the goalpost at the last minute. We're going to do the feedback next week and it's all going to be a bit... people are going to be shouting at us. But
I think they're going to be shouting at us anyway.
Because, after 2 hours and 45 and we haven't even got the feedback, I'd imagine they would be. Welcome to the suck, Jim.
They know the score by now.
They knew. They signed on. But anyway, on to the last shit film. Have you got any shit films left?
I've got no. Just...
Jim, your last shit film, if you got one?
The Sweeney.
Jesus Christ. I forgot about that. Oh,
the
that's
fucking canting, twatting, fucking Sweeney.
God blimey. I'm fucking Reagan and I get on a fucking Katina and drive us around the fucking block.
fuck off, Ray.
It's one of those movies that what's most annoying about it is there could have been such a good film in there. Indeed, there are some very good sequences in it, you know, kind of, you still could do that kind of high-octane cop action in modern Britain and it would work. But it's just let down by Nick Love's fucking geezer, fuck off, can't. And it's just kind of, you just hate everybody in the film.
Yes.
Yeah. There is actually a much better tribute to the Sweeney, and that's an advert that they did some time ago. I think it was about Dulux paint, and it had.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? Hello, Squealer. What's that?
That's Parisian Moonlight
White.
I wanted Apple Blossom White.
Shut your face.
Well, was the Comic Strip Presents did one with they teamed up 3 different generations of coppers.
Oh, was it called The Filth or something?
Yeah, was it? And they had the bullshitters who were like the professionals.
Yeah, the bullshit. That was the professionals one.
And Spanker, who was Spender. Then they had the filth who were the Sweeney. I'm a 50 gov a day man, so I'm calling you Gov whether you fucking like it or not. Gov!
Oh, yeah. Fucking Sweeney. God almighty. Go on then, Dal. Have you got any films, or are you all shitted out?
I think I'm all shitted out unless I've blotted something completely from my memory because it was so sort of like horrific.
Wow. Yeah.
No, I can't. I've been through the list of the released films for 2013, and no.
Well, I have a lot of also rans in the shit dip.
Can we can do also rans, can't we?
Okay, yeah.
Or films that failed to
Have you seen Olympus Has Fallen?
No.
Okay, that's Gerard Butler
Shouting a lot.
doing Die Hard in the fucking White House, which is terrible movie. Then there was Riddick, which is
Ridiculous.
fucking crap. Yeah, because obviously you can fuck a lesbian straight. Apparently, that's
Can
what you
you?
can. Yeah, you can.
Wow. Some of those rather sort of right-wing Christian societies will be really pleased about
Yeah,
that.
they'd be very pleased about that. And the worst CGI dog committed to celluloid ever. Yeah, and then there's Monsters University. Have you seen that?
No,
Fucking hell.
I can't say it appealed to me.
That was just gibberish. That's just some 50-year-old bloke living up trying to do Animal House with monsters, which obviously kids don't get. Kids don't understand that shit and all. Oh, God. What was that terrible fucking... Oh, there was a terrible bloody horror movie I watched as well. I think, is it Mama? With two kids? Starts off as a quite good idea.
Oh, this was adapted from a short, I believe.
The short, very effective. But the film, not so much. Two girls found in a cabin in the woods, how they've been living for the last 8 years, because they're both 8.
Yeah.
No one knows. But then they get brought back, they're almost feral, brought back, rehabilitated, given to a family. But it turns out that what has been looking after them comes looking for them. And it's this thing they refer to as Mama. And in fairness, there are some very effective shocks. And if you don't like spindly, white-eyed thingies, a bit like the creature from Wreck, scuttling around your house,
it's one of those sort, is it?
Yeah. Then there's plenty to make you jump. But the problem is it pulls out the I'm going to reveal the monster quite early, and you go
disappointment.
Oh, right, I've seen it now, and then it kind of the more times you see it, the more you kind of go, oh, all right then. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's a bit like sort of someone jumping out and going boo, making you jump, and then they go boo again. You go, yeah, I know you're still there. Yeah. It's kind of like it all kind of goes down a bit, deflates.
You got me.
Yeah. Oh my lord, it's the Invisible Man. I don't know how he moved that chess piece. That's a miracle. No mistake. But out of all of those, I fucking hate Monsters University.
Yeah.
I really do. I tell you, I liked Monsters Inc. I did, but to watch what is essentially an old man's fantasy life of living in fucking campus, but we made them monsters because kids love that. And it's like the kids don't get the gags, the adults don't get the references. The whole thing just feels like Cars again. It just feels like, oh look, it's Cars because the person who Carsy, the person who made this likes Daytona, and if you don't like Daytona, you're shit out of luck for the next fucking hour and a half. And I tell you what, if you haven't seen Doc Hollywood, you're shit out of luck again. It's just like, right, okay. And that seems to be what Pixar seems to be good at the moment, finding old people to make films for them and just say, what do you like then? We'll make a film about that. It's like, fuck off. So there you go. That's my kind of shit list. There are more, but I won't do it because you know what? We're at 3 hours. And I just complained about The Hobbit being too long and padded out.
We don't need no stinking irony.
We got irony in spades.
Spades.
We got spades of your irony. We have your irony.
I want my Boyd.
Boyd. Oh, God. Don't evoke that. If you do that, if Iron Man 2 appears on film 4, people start screaming. Don't do that. Right.
Candyman.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like Beetlejuice. Sort of turns up, Boyd. I want my Boyd. Fuck your bird, you dumbass fucking Botox smothered tit. Anyway, right. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave it there. We're going to break this into 2 parts and break in gently. So, ladies and gentlemen, terribly sorry about this. The schedule's already gone out of whack, and we're only one episode into the year.
Start as you mean to go on.
Exactly. So next week, we will have a nice quick episode, which will be, which will be the feedback for the 2013 film review. And then the week after that will be our first film of the year.
Mm.
Do you know what it is?
Yes, Top Secret.
No.
What?
It's been changed.
It's been changed?
It's been changed. Top Secret's second week.
This better be a film I've got in my fucking collection. I'm trying to save money.
Well, it's actually one that's on YouTube because that's what
Is
sort
it?
of prompted it.
Oh.
Robot Jocks.
Ah. Not seen that for years.
You blame Chris Johnson. If he hadn't put it on... actually, blame Foxy. If you hadn't put it on as like, hey, look, it's a full version of YouTube on the Facebook group, then I wouldn't have included it. But the fact of the matter is he did. And I saw it and I thought, great. And I thought, we don't have to pay for it. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at his face. Look at his face. What have I done? You're upset, aren't you?
I was looking forward to watching Top Secret.
You can watch it the week after. It is still on the list. It's the week after. It's just Robot Jocks on YouTube.
Now I've got to watch Robo Shat.
Have you seen it?
I've seen bits of it, yes, and it's not pretty. I started watching it in work. And you hate the bloke there's an incredibly over-the-top Russian accent.
Yeah, yeah. My Russian accent is a little overdone.
Just stick some marbles in your mouth. There we go.
Well, anyway, so there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can either send in feedback for the 2013 review, as soon as we've got a whole episode to fill with that, or you can wait a week and get on Robo Jocks, which is
on your Robo Jocks,
which you can find as a link on YouTube on the Facebook group, the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. Darren's face, he looks like I've just set fire to his house and given him the bill for the petrol.
Fucking Robo Jocks.
Well, anyway.
Can I play 2 or 3 hours of Met Commander and just say I've watched it and
Yeah, you can if you want.
pretend? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could, but you're not going to. So, yes, that's that. If anyone's got any feedback for 2013 or Robot Jocks, please send them in to blackdog@geekplanetonline.com. And what you do? You look like someone's just giving you a bill for a meal you didn't eat.
Do you know what? I think we should do a whole season of films with Robo in the title.
Robo
Sapien. We'll watch that one as well. There we go. Fucking Robo Sapien.
Oh.
From the people that bought you Battleship.
Well, okay. So, yeah, that's about it then. Well, we'll see. Shut up. We shall see you all next week. I would say, Jim, have you got a podcast to plug? But you're our podcaster now.
You are now.
Indeed.
You are. But if you got anything to plug, go on.
Yes, the my new episode of Hypnobobs is out, which is another New Year roundup.
Nice.
But
Is it a little
not
bit more
overlapping
succinct?
anything here.
No.
I was clever.
Nice. Good work. Good work. You're still hired. Right. Cool. Well, then, in which case, where can we find Hypnobobs?
On iTunes, on Geek Planet Online, and probably other places as well.
Yes. Wherever good podcasts are pirated.
Mm.
Right. Well, then that's it. So we'll see you all next week for the feedback episode, and the week after for Robot Jocks. Until then, we'll see you all very soon, won't we, Darren?
Yes, we will.
Won't we, Jim?
Yes.
Hey, there you go. And we shall play out with a whole version of that intro that you just heard. We got everyone to send in intros.
What, you mean the intro we played about 3 weeks ago at the start of this
At
episode?
the start of this episode, yeah. But one person really pulled it out the bag with the old drama. It was really good. And it was so impressive. We were actually going to hold it as a one intro on its own. But you know what? Obviously, everyone else sent in bits, so we cut it up and made an intro. But, ladies and gentlemen, to play out tonight, I give you David Dean's intro to Babylon 5 Season 4. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye.
It was the year of fire, the year of destruction, the year we took back what was ours. It was the year of rebirth, the year of great sadness, the year of pain, and the year of joy. It was a new age. It was the end of history. It was the year everything changed. The year is 2014. The place, the Black Dog Podcast.